record on that. It's a podcast. Patrick Tuck.
Hey,
You're on
I'm
camera
here.
now.
I did it. Oh, is the microphone down here now?
Yeah. That should be able to pick us up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. You can't see me.
Yeah, Ben's invisible now. I fucked up.
We're in the new recording spot, and I'm hitting the capture real quick, but you can hear me.
Yeah, that's what happens when you drink too many monsters. You just move so fast.
You fucking melt.
You're invisible.
My teeth are melting.
You melt. Yeah, he's actually a puddle.
My teeth are actually melting. Everything else too. Eventually.
Yeah, we're all melting.
Dude, we will be. This is. You feel how hot it is now.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine all these lights surrounding me. I'm very scared that this is supposed to be as long as you said. I should have worn nothing.
Next week I should have an air condition in here. Is the plan instead of just a box fan behind you. Screen recording now.
Like, have you ever been inside one of those like photo booths?
Oh yeah.
The lights all around you.
Yeah, dude, I've hotboxed a bunch of those before. Especially at the mall. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
We could hotbox this room.
Oh yeah, I do that too now. That's been fun. Especially the nights in between getting everything up here and stuff like that, where I couldn't record or anything. Like, I was just in here facing cones and like getting shit set up.
Nice.
And it's still not 100% yet. I'll probably throw more shit on the shelves. All the games and stuff is going into the spare room. At least like where the game wall is, the library, so to speak, into what we call the storage room as of now.
Nice.
But yeah, this is the new workspace, and like I said, I just wanted everything to be convenient. So like being able to like edit and do my Pokemon stuff.
That's a whole
and
office.
Record and everything.
It's like a recording studio type thing.
Yeah, this is how my room was set up when I started YouTube and stuff like that, and it's kind of like how I wanted to maintain it when I first got here. And if you remember, I had the camera like set up behind the TV, and it just stayed there and stuff like that. And then that quickly fell apart as we tried to expand the living room.
Yeah, this does feel more like a talk show host.
Yeah.
Guests too, like.
Yeah. I don't know how long. I'll probably have you sit on the bed once I get like some pillowcases and stuff like that. So I have the chair, so I can have like.
Oh, that's true. I guess
the ability to everything.
You do got to move around a little bit more. I just figured it's your bed.
Right, but I've been friends with you for so long that
that's true.
I don't see it as a thing. Once I get like I'll get a couple of non-sleeping pillows, so it's a little bit more.
Yeah,
like
we can just bring
area.
up the pillows from the.
Oh, those aren't mine though.
Couch. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I don't want those ugly things.
I'll bring my body pillow.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking I'll get a special podcasting pillow that I just keep in my car.
Soon I'll probably buy like Pokemon bedding and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of
So,
course.
like,
You got to complete the look for sure.
Yeah. That was the plan, and then Walmart didn't have the exact bedding that I want.
Come on, Walmart.
So
step it up.
Yeah, it's really hard to find children's Pokemon bedding. It's only
Which is weird. Yeah, you'd think. It's popping right now.
Right.
You can find that anywhere.
They only had one, and it was like, I don't know. It looks like every single Walmart kids brand
just generic.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Pikachu, Squirtle, Charmander, and a really big, or Pikachu is really big on it, but then I'll have like Squirtle and Bulbasaur and Charmander all in like their colors.
Right.
And that's the whole thing.
They
But
just
Pikachu's
pick,
big.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, they just pick the top 4 Pokemon and slap it in a.
Yeah, so I'll probably order something. I'm a big Mr. Mime fan. So
yeah,
Yeah, he's behind you. Kind of have a little shrine. I'll get a full Mr. Mind shrine going as well. Now that my job also pays more, I can like afford
Shrines.
Yeah, I can afford to make my shrines after
Yeah.
I sold everything. Like my birthday Pikachu shrine, I had that.
Oh, that's true.
And
I remember
then,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that I sold that card. That was like $160. So you know, buying that back is a little chunk of change that I've been waiting to pull the trigger on. But yeah, dude, shit. Speaking of,
leave a comment below on your favorite shrine.
Oh yeah, if you just create shrines,
how many do you have?
Yeah, I had a From Software shrine. I'll probably recreate that.
That's true.
There's part of it right there with like
the Sekiro sword. And,
I don't even know if that's on camera. I assume it is, but
it might be. I might be blocking some of it. I don't know how tall it is. I don't know what's up there, man.
Yeah, but I had like Bloodborne, and I have like the steel case for the Dark Souls trilogy and all that stuff. So like I had that all like together.
Yeah, like a setup.
Yeah, so I'll bring that up and stuff. I think I sold my Bloodborne copy because it was a PlayStation Hits copy, and all the Red Label stuff is really ugly. I don't like any. I've never been a fan of Red Label games.
Yeah.
I've just never been a fan. Same thing with GameCube. Like GameCube has like GameCube's not as obtrusive as like PlayStation, Xbox, where like Xbox had platinum hits where it turned the whole case silver, and then PlayStation turns the logo red from like black or blue. GameCube puts like a little yellow triangle at the top of the case that says players hits or whatever, or best selling.
Yeah, that's not as
like
bad.
That. But it's still ugly as hell, especially when you see the two together and you're like, I don't want that on that.
Yeah, I'd like them all to be universal.
Right.
Especially for the shelf, yeah. You don't want one random red banner or whatever.
Right. It's also usually that's like when a game hits a certain amount of copies, they get that moniker. It used to be, back in the day when games were very small, it was like 200,000 copies. Maybe even 100,000 copies in some cases, like for the PS1 and stuff.
Yeah.
You would get that moniker, and then that's like the same idea as like a TV show hitting syndication or something like that, where it's just they mass produce it, and like you become an elite title basically, versus like some of the other more rare games. Like there's definitely cases where the platinum hits versions are still very expensive, like Silent Hill and stuff like that, but the more rare stuff never got that.
Right.
So like those games obviously have lower print runs and stuff like that, but then I think now it's 500,000 units, and games hit 500K all the time.
Yeah.
So, but also games don't get printed as often as what they used to, so that's a whole other thing where, like, usually now it's, like, first-party stuff usually gets it, and that's really it, versus, like, PS2 era, any game, like, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Right.
It's, like, one of the most memorable ones. Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
The Shrek games. Dance Dance Revolution, like all of these bigger titles that would sell. Guitar Hero. Actually, I don't think Guitar Hero ever got a Platinum Hits variant. I think some of the other ones did, the ones that didn't come with guitars. Speaking of things putting out games, we have a very long show ahead of us, so I do want to talk to you about what we've been playing and stuff, but I assume I've been playing basically just Elden Ring.
That's right, because the DLC.
Yeah, dude, we're like less than 72 hours away from the DLC. Tomorrow night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm so fucking excited. Yeah, we are less than 72 hours away from Elden Ring. I at Commander Neil still, but I've gotten like all of the other stuff done, like Crumbling Pharaoh Missoula I finished last night. Malekith is a bitch with my build.
Yeah.
I'm not a glass cannon, but like I meant to stay in the fight for a little bit and just keep building my like attack.
Right.
A lot of my attacks like stack on top of each other. That's kind of the whole idea. The more I attack, the more it builds. And but my whole build is trying not to have them get a move in, or if they are able to get a move in, to dodge out of the way really fast.
Right.
And Malekith, he fucking just snipes you from across the room, like with a... I guess the titular Black Blade in his name. He throws at you, which is like a death blade thing. It like not only drains your health, it like takes away and blocks out part of your health bar,
gosh.
so it's like
makes
it shorter as it takes it away as well. So even when you heal, you have less health. And it took me a while to get through him. I think I'm never been opposed to like summoning and stuff like that. I mean, I've 100% feel like I've nothing to prove with these games.
Right. I mean, and that's part of the game. I feel like that's why they gave it to you, so you could do it.
Right.
You know, you're not some Chad.
Right.
Like trying to...
So I love the jolly co-op nature of... I mean, that's part of the reason why, like, Praise the Run is the name of the podcast, is the jolly cooperation of the Sun Bros and Praise the Sun and stuff, but also, like, an arcade run or something like that is kind of like where that name came from. But the jolly cooperation, us being friends and stuff, even though I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, Souls is like the one time where I'm like, yeah, let's bring somebody else in.
Right.
And maybe because it's so minimal in the interaction, where I spin around in a circle and I do my wave gesture and then we go fight a boss together and I don't have to say shit.
Yeah, right. It's very, very simple.
Everybody's there for the same thing. And that's always fun. So I'm just trying to get through up to Moog. I mean, I beat Horror Lou, so technically the last boss is available, but in order to get that whole side area that is like, I mean, if you're just going through the steps of the game, you never know it's there other than the map being still partially grayed out.
Right.
You have to defeat Commander Neil to even get to the place where you get teleported to Moog. Or the place where Moog is. Because Moog is, like, underground, like, way off in some fucking exiled place for a purpose. So, yeah, you have to beat this dude, and this dude summons a whole bunch of ghosts, or two very strong ghosts. So, of course I'm going to summon buddies and stuff like that.
Right, of course.
Right. The only thing that people don't talk about when you summon is that every time you summon somebody in, it doubles the damage and doubles the health pool of everybody. Not everybody in your party, but everybody that you're facing against your enemies. So if you summon 2 other people for a party of 3,
right,
it's 4 times the health and 4 times the damage.
Right. That's a lot, yeah. So it's still like you're fighting, yeah.
It's still pretty fucked. Especially with Commander Neil. Like, his little buddies are small, but I mean, it's probably because I'm the person summoning. The Commander dude just aggroes towards me.
Yeah.
And he has a move where he, like, turns his foot into, like, a lightning boot, and then just fucking decks you in the face.
Oh, wow.
And it one-shots me every time.
Jesus.
And I don't know what to do about it. I've tried to dodge under it, I've tried to dodge left, and he just, like, homes it in, like, smacks me in the face. I'm like, fuck.
Huh.
Every single time. It doesn't matter if it's, like, I've gotten him to, like, the last hit a couple of times. I've gotten him to, like, 3/4 of the way in. I think that phase turns on no matter what if you kill the dudes, but if you keep those other little dudes running around, it's like at 3/4 of his health, he'll finally transform. But you have to keep all those other fuckers going around and trying to battle off. But since I'm going in with 2 other dudes, we tear through those dudes pretty fast, which means Commander Neil goes into his fucking hyper-charged mode almost immediately, and he fucking destroys me almost instantly. I don't know why. I don't have an answer why. Because whenever I summon dudes, those dudes seem so much stronger than me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like level 125 right now or something like that. Like, pretty decent level, but I'm pretty balanced in my build. So it makes me think of, like, I just need to, like, go respec, dump everything in strength, just take a hammer, smash that dude, and then go respec again.
Right, yeah, just fucking,
yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's... The Elden Ring reviews dropped today for the DLC.
Oh, yeah.
And it's getting 10s across the board. People are saying it's a lot harder than what it is, because presumably by the end of Elden Ring, depending on how far you are, you've reached level cap, and they've taken that into account.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like a new system of leveling up and stuff. I mean, we'll get more into it, of course, when I'm playing the game, but like that's kind of like the whole thing of like, there's like a whole... The new bosses are going to be so much fucking stronger, because some people are going to be like level 180, and then I think the recommended level they're saying is 115. Which
I mean, you got to get to a certain level just to get to where you can enter the DLC.
Right, so Moog is 80% into the game.
Right.
90%.
So by that point, you should at least be like a level 100 plus.
Yeah, like I said, I'm level 130, and I've done no grinding at all. I've just picked up runes and fought bosses.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty high up there. But I've died quite a bit. I'm very flippant on going back and picking up my souls.
Yeah.
I don't usually care. I mean, maybe that's just a product of playing these games for so long that I just have no attachment to them.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll die to 100k and then just be like, fuck it, whatever. And 100k right now, I mean, 100k is a level, but it's not 2 levels, which is why I'm just like, whatever.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
That's
I'm the opposite. I fucking go all the way back every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, 50 souls.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking fiend.
Yeah. If I'm in the vicinity of my little soul thing,
yeah,
I'll always pick it up just because it bothers me being on the map.
I hate. If it's in my, if I see it, I have to. Yeah. Absolutely. I can't let it float around.
Yeah, like if it's the boss arena with me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll watch people fighting the boss, and it'll be like, it's just like, just pick it up. Like, it's just so, like, obtrusive at this point. Just do it, please.
Right.
Like, I don't care if it's 0 souls. It's still there. Like, just get rid of it.
Right. But if I, like, fall off a cliff and it's, like, some other way, like, I don't...
Yeah, if it's out of the way, or, like, if I have a different option. Like, it depends. I guess it depends on the route. Yeah, if I was just trying something, like an alt boss or something, and I failed one too many times, I'll be like, fuck it. But usually I at least the first time, I try to go back and at least get the souls and run back. But then if I fail again, I'm like, okay, obviously this isn't meant to be right now.
Right. Damn. Shit, dude. I'm so excited for the DLC. We're getting there. It's gonna be so great.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope.
Let's get into some showcases. We're gonna talk about 2 today. We were gonna talk about all the little ones and Xbox today. Today, we are just talking about Xbox and Nintendo, because yesterday Nintendo announced out of nowhere, hey, we're throwing a Direct. 7 a.m. Pacific time. And Yeah, it was 40 minutes long. Xbox is about an hour. We're not going to be talking about Call of Duty, really. Call of Duty looks like Call of Duty.
Guess what? You got more Call of Duty.
Right, exactly.
More like Call of Duty.
We don't need a...
Like poop.
Yeah. Yeah. The crazy thing to talk about with Call of Duty is that the gigabyte size is insane.
Oh, isn't it like the whole Xbox?
Yeah, it's...
One whole Xbox to play a game.
I think it's somewhere in the 346, 348.
You have to own two
like
Xbox.
that.
One Xbox just for Call of Duty, and then one Xbox for all your other games.
Right, because like a Series S is 500 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And then minus its software would probably put it around in like the 420-ish.
420, yeah.
Yeah. That's so much.
Yeah,
dude.
maybe they're pushing for like external drives or something.
Well, what I do know is that when you download a Call of Duty, you have to download all of Call of Duty, which includes Warzone.
Yeah.
So
and
how much of that is right, and zombies. So once you download it all, you can like delete part of it.
That's true.
But
zombie maps are getting bigger too. Zombies is probably at least a good 15 of that. Yeah.
Right. They don't talk about zombies. That was kind of
yeah.
like the thing. They were like, zombies is coming back, but we're not going to talk about it. And same thing with Warzone. They were like, can we talk about Warzone?
I wish they would just go ahead and make a separate zombies thing.
Right.
Like, stop including it in... Like, I'm sure that's why they do it.
Right.
But, I feel like I'm going to be blocking the microphone.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, we don't even need to listen to it. We can just watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, at least for
'cause-
now, yeah, because this is just Call of Duty. I'm not...
Yeah, so like they kick it off. They're like, "Hey, Call of Duty, the Call of Duty is gonna be at the end of the showcase. We're gonna give you a little sneak peek, but stay tuned after." That's kind of they just kick it off with that. You get like shots of like HW and stuff like that.
1991.
Bill Clinton, because it's all like Cold War shit.
Right. They're starting to run out of wars.
Right. The Black Ops thing. It's weird because like it is a continuous story. I just I don't know. The idea of Call of Duty this year is it's a lot more modern than what it has been.
Yeah.
I mean they've had Modern Warfare, so I guess that's one thing. But like in terms of like real life wars, I mean that. We're going to be in Afghanistan and stuff like that. Theoretically, is what is being presented here, and it's so much so. A lot of the people playing won't remember this, but for us, we remember 9/11.
Right.
We remember everything. You know, we were pretty young, but like I know there's people, of course, in the games industry that are older than us, so that remember it. They were adults at the time. But, you know, a lot of the Call of Duty people don't remember 9/11, and they're talking about recreating... There's a rumor that 9/11 is recreated in this game. Not that you're going to be playing as, like, a planejacker or anything,
right.
but there will be a depiction of that incident in this game. I'm not trying to say like a political statement, whether that's wrong in one way or another. I don't think that's inherently wrong. I mean, we've had World Trade Center movies before, but like making light of a tragedy.
United States of America.
It's not making light of it necessarily. It is
look at
gamifying
the
it
for Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
in a way. But,
I mean, I guess it's hard to say because I mean they've touched on everything else
right
up until this point. That I mean they've been making that new Black Hawk game.
The Black Hawk Down game, and that's a remake. Like that's the multiplayer is the sequel.
Yeah,
and the campaign is a remake of an original Xbox game.
Oh, okay.
The Delta Force Black Hawk Down was like a movie tie-in game, but the reason why the whole series was popular That was the first game that I ever heard of that was 64 multiplayer on an original Xbox. It was like 48 or 44 versus 44 or something like that. It was huge. And I played a lot of that game, and I played a lot of that campaign, which is just I think we talked about it last week. It's just a weird nostalgic thing that's like particularly catered to me, and it seems like nobody else wants it. And it's like I'll replay through that for some random weird reason. But we've had Conflict Desert Storm games were like very popular when we were kids as well. Same thing with I think it was the Conflict games are what I'm thinking of, but I think now they're called like Operation Dragon or something like that. There was like there's in the 360 era they changed it, but also like Battlefield, like World War II games and stuff like that. The theoretical not even the theoretical, the real life tragedy behind like the Holocaust and stuff. Even though it's not depicted necessarily in the game as a gameplay thing, it's still there.
Right.
And there's still people, I mean, not as much anymore, but at least when we were kids playing these games, there was very much still people that fought in that war alive.
Yeah, for sure.
And same thing with Korea or Vietnam or anything like that. I mean, if movies can do it and be mature about it, I think video games are very much past that spot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, if you're gonna be talking about something historical, you gotta make the right references, or it won't make sense. So, like,
right, and even if it doesn't make sense, like, it doesn't have to. It can be alternate history.
That's
like
true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Wolfenstein versus like Platoon or Full Metal Jacket.
Right. Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then you can make light of war in a comedy way as well. I mean, I think of Stripes and MASH and fucking all of these like comedy military movies that I watched as a kid. Mostly maybe because my dad was in the military, so a lot of my and you served a little bit. So a lot of that ideology is a little skewed towards a different way. Especially when it comes to war and war times. But I think you'll be alright even, like, changing it a little, you know?
Yeah.
They're not gonna come out and be like, 9/11 was great, you know?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm sure they probably won't even, it'll be a brief, it's not like they're gonna redo the whole thing, you know, they're not gonna, like, start showing live footage of it or whatever. If anything, it'll probably be, like, briefly mentioned.
Honestly, they might have live footage
and then
they might have clips.
I mean, they might have, but they're not gonna, like, recreate the whole, like, make you watch the whole thing again.
Right.
If anything, it'll be, like, a brief, like, oh, this just happened, and then cut to what the effect of that is.
Right.
Now you're fighting in this thing or something.
And it seems like if that were it seems like the time frame of this game is very much 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So if 9/11 would be the tail end of this game, technically.
Right. If anything, yeah, it'll be like literally the end credits.
Yeah,
or something,
the finale.
Because it's not like we fought there, so it's not like there's gonna be a game scene where we're like armed up at the tower shooting terrorists, because that didn't actually happen.
Right.
That would be, I think, where it becomes disrespectful, where they're using that tragedy as a platform.
Yeah, like a ploy.
But if they just mention it, like this was a cause and or an effect of something, this equals this, then yeah, of course, it's just used as a marker to, you know, explain the context or whatever.
Right.
And that's fine.
Or even put that context into their story.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to dwell on it or point fingers or anything.
Right.
It'd be a brief, because enough people will know that they don't have to over-explain it, and those who don't know someone that does. It's not that old yet, so.
Right, exactly.
I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah. I think that's very well said as well. Hell yeah. After that, we do get Phil coming out, looking
Hell
happier than ever.
Regular games.
He fucking... You remember... it's the elephant in the room after this is that they had just laid off 4 studios. They just shut down 4 studios. I'm not saying that this is to dampen the showcase, because this is going to be excellent. I think they did an amazing job. I think it is definitely a weird tone for them to... Him and Matt... You'll see Matt Booty and Sarah Bond all come out on stage. I mean, they kind of just have to be happy for the circumstances. It's not the time and place to be, like, all sad and stuff. But, like, I think it was a weird choice to even have them show their face after what had just happened.
That's true, yeah. They could have got sniped.
Yeah. Well, none of this is live. The SGF was live, we thought. But this is definitely all
set in the 1990s after the Cold War
very,
ends,
very curated.
where the truth isn't what it seems.
He's wearing the Call of Duty shirt,
representing the creative teams.
Yeah, they made sure that they. I bet you it's
tuned
pinned.
after the
I bet you there's a pin behind the
we will
shirt,
take
behind
you
the
inside
jacket,
the
so it
studios
stays perfectly
to hear
framed.
directly
Yeah,
from
right.
Treyarch and
Maybe
Raven,
a
who
close
are
pin.
working
Yeah.
on Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Hey, I mean, that's his thing.
You'll
He
get a
always wears a
25-minute
t-shirt under his
deep dive
jacket,
into
and
the
it's kind of like,
story,
what is Phil gonna
and a
wear?
sneak
But of
peek
course,
at
it's just gonna be Call
multiplayer
of Duty.
and zombies.
Oh yeah, nice. It's a nice
It's
shirt.
been 10 years since
Yeah,
Call of
I like
Duty
the
has been in our
wolf
show.
logo thing. And,
It's been even longer.
It kind of
since
reminds
all
me
Call
of like
Duty
every
players
single
got
like
the same game
as
at
a
the same
YouTuber
time.
that puts out Let's Plays.
Going
I
forward,
get
everyone
Instagram
will
bots
experience
flooding
the game,
my mentions of
including
like
Black
I'll
Ops
create
6
you a
beta,
logo,
the
and
season
every
Yeah.
logo
expansions,
looks
and
like
the
that.
I don't
with
like the
bold
vinyl
fonts.
too. Oh yeah. I don't like
There
that
are
vinyl
currently
texture.
over 100
Yeah.
million
Especially for like a
people
war
who play
game, I feel
Call
like
of
it should be
Duty
a lot
every
more
month.
like.
Yeah, it's
We
like a
hope to
glossy
grow that
part of
version
the
of
shirt.
this.
by
Yeah.
making Black
Yeah.
Ops 6 the first
Yeah,
Call of Duty game.
it looks like that'll
will be
crack after
available
like a wash.
Oh,
in
for
Game
sure. He's
Pass.
gonna watch it once.
Yeah. It's probably the pre-order shirt. So
Day
it's
one.
pretty super cheap.
True.
But yeah, we get him talking for a bit. He introduces the showcase, and then we get our first game reveal. I believe it's... Do we start with Indy? No. So we start with id Software and their new game. We get a brand new look at the new Doom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so this had been leaked / rumored for a bit. That is like
Pre-Doom.
right. We talked about it a while ago as Doom Year 1, I
Yeah.
think, at the rumor mill.
That's the kind of vibes it's given, right? Everything's shiny.
Yes, everything.
Everything's-
It's medieval. It's straight up
Right.
medieval Doom.
Well, it's like, but it's not. It is, but it isn't. It's
Right.
like the future. What would you
It's
call
like-
that? Steampunk?
Yeah, it's like this.
Medieval punk?
Right. I didn't even notice he came from a spaceship at this point. It's like a medieval world. But yeah, you're right. Almost. I mean, Warhammer. Warhammer is
Okay,
very
yeah,
much
Warhammer-esque,
that
yeah.
Space Marine, medieval space stuff. Yeah, it's very much that. But yeah, you get a shield with a chainsaw on it.
But yeah,
which is
everything's
sick.
still like clean. Not everything's just covered in flesh.
Right.
World.
Yeah, you're definitely not in hell. Doom Eternal is the one that's just straight up in hell. That whole game. Versus, is that right? Maybe that's not right. Maybe this is just Doom 1. And Doom Eternal is the one on Earth. A whole new planet.
Huge too. You're flying that thing around. There's
Yeah.
like tons of stuff happening around you. Yeah, that looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, it looks like it almost took I imagine there might be some linearity, but like a lot of this seems like after they worked with Avalanche on Rage 2, not Rage 1, but Rage 2 more recently. They kind of took a page out of their book, their open world book, and was like, I think we can do that a little bit better with Doom.
Yeah, it looks like
I want to fly a dragon though. That's sick.
that looks sick. And it looks like you got to be a little more
The Dark
strategic too.
Ages. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the Doom Eternal gets like that at the end, especially with like a lot of the platforming shit that
Yeah.
I'm not good at.
Yeah.
where like you'll have to like double jump and then double dash and then use your grapple to get to a place and stuff
really?
like that. Yeah, I think you'll have a lot more of that in this open area kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's what it's kind of looking like.
I would be cool if it's straight up like a Doom 64, where it's very much an RPG in the Doom universe.
That would be neat.
I don't know what they could do with an open world Doom besides that. I mean, it would be cool to just let me loose and like kill things in an open world.
Yeah.
And just
kind of like a
some bosses.
Borderlands, you know, you just kind of...
Yeah, or Souls or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, like a Souls, yeah.
Yeah, where you're just going through, but I think you might have some quests and stuff like that. I don't think unless if it is a more linear game with open areas in between, which is very much possible.
It's more Doom feeling, probably, but...
Yeah, that's very much in the vein of the previous two in this trilogy, where it's very much like big open areas that funnel you into a hallway that bring you to a new big open area.
Right,
and then that's how they kind of present like combat, like arenas and stuff like that as well. Because a lot of that game is, as much as it is an action game, is like a puzzle action.
Right.
Where like you're feeding into the loop of like glory kills give you health and ammo and stuff like that, and kind of like creating a combo almost of like trying to get through these things as fast as possible.
Right.
This seems like a lot more of like to kind of do anything. Cool. It's cool. 2025. Spoilers, we're gonna see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years. Well, I guess it's a year.
It's a year now. 6 months, actually. But, yeah, it's an... As much as I really enjoyed what we see, it does feel like Xbox coming out and being like, another year of nothing, you know? We got Call of Duty, that's in November.
Right.
But, this next game we have not seen since 2019 when they announced the purchase of this studio, Undead Labs. This is State of Decay 3. This is a first look at in-game footage. There's a lot of cutscene here, but they do they did like that Fable trailer thing from that original one where they like cut the gameplay without any HUD into the CG cutscene thing, or not CG cutscene, but like in-game cutscenes. But like this is gameplay.
The sacrifice would be worth it.
You'll see it like go over her shoulder and she'll like fucking snipe and shit for a second and stuff like that. It's very much it looks a lot more zoomed in than like that. That shot was gameplay there. Like very small shots. Yeah, there.
Find the courage to keep
Very
going.
much a lot more zoomed in than those previous two. But this one's gonna be a lot bigger, is what they're saying.
Oh wow.
That even with that zoomed in perspective, it's supposed to kind of help make it feel more claustrophobic in these things. And these more open areas like this, but like you're still getting swarmed and shit.
Right.
Being more into the character kind of gives you
I didn't know you well.
a lot less of a visual representation of around you, but kind of gives you a feeling of more
It will
openness.
keep your memory alive.
They haven't really said much about this game since, like, after. They're gonna go dark again, I assume. They still update State of Decay 2.
I was gonna
like
say,
crazy.
yeah.
No, they are very much like they're not necessarily going dark. They'll go dark on State of Decay 3 for a bit, but they're still putting out shit for State of Decay 2, bug fixes, balances, updates. They've been going nonstop for a while. I think I'm not a big State of Decay fan. You're a State of Decay fan, right?
I like State of Decay, yeah.
you want to... Is there anything new you see here that stands out? I know it's not a lot.
I mean, it looks like you could customize the cars a little more.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what they were kind of implying. Because, like, I remember in State of Decay 2, you kind of just, like, use whatever cars you stumble upon. You just fill them up. Where it looks like those vehicles are, like, a little more edited. I don't know if that's just how they're going to be. Or if you have any...
Yeah, you got like grates and stuff on the back.
Like if you contribute to that in any way.
Yeah,
they look a little more like
like
zombified, you know, like zombie-proofed.
Yeah, and it seems like we're on like a mission of going...
And will never be forgotten.
Like, the first two were like hub towns, right? Like, you're like building like a town thing.
Kinda, yeah. You'd hop around. Yeah, you try to, as you gather survivors, you like go to different hubs or whatever that are fit for the amount of people you have and kind of build off of them or whatever. And
it kind of feels like our hub is our car.
It does kind of seem like that, yeah. Like we're driving around a lot more, maybe.
Yeah, all of your shit is packed up on top too.
Yeah, maybe there isn't like a settlement of sorts.
Yeah, I'd imagine like you can lay like a crafting table or like maybe gas stations or something like that. Have those mechanics, but I mean, this Rot City is what I called it.
Yeah.
That seems new. I don't remember anything like that.
No, I think I think this is supposed to be like way after. So like things are really developing.
Yeah, that
whole
is confirmed.
cities have been plagued.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're in the car, because it's just too much.
You're right. Yeah, it's no point staying
Because
still.
you got these guys that could literally just blow doors down.
Right, and then just like fungal.
So I feel like it'll be more like a Left 4 Dead, where they're just constantly moving.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Which I... And then I don't know what this means if that's not... I don't know if that's actually part of the game.
We saw that other game at SGF as well with the permadeath.
Yeah.
That's made by the... I think Chivalry people.
Yeah.
It's called No More Room in Hell. But yeah, it's same thing where it's like 8-player co-op.
Oh,
kind of
right,
stuff,
yes,
permadeath.
yes.
You're going through, always on the move kind of thing. This is not the first reveal, but it feels like the first reveal. I feel like we've heard of Dragon Age Dreadwolf for the last decade now. And we have seen, I don't know, probably 10 dev diaries on the development of this game with concept art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've actually seen anything in motion.
It's like Fable.
Correct. This art style is very new for the series. The original, the first 2 games or 3 games are a lot more like this still has like a realistic tone, like feel to it, but like the cartoon eyes are a little bit more rounded, cheekbones there's a lot more Fortnite-iness to it, with like real skin textures and stuff. The first 2 are very much like, you know, like a Call of Duty looking realistic versus like this more looks like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 still has very round eyes and very cartoonish attributes to their characters.
Right.
We don't see any gameplay.
Nope. Just a whole bunch of characters.
Right, and I mean, we're not listening to it right now. But there's a lot of the witty, Fable-ish tone to it.
Yeah.
They're cracking a lot of jokes. They also changed the name. It's not called Dragon Age Dreadwolf anymore. It's now called Dragon Age the Veilguard. Dreadwolf is the name of the villain from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
Now they've kind of called it the Veil Guard because that is the name of this team.
Right.
You're protecting the Veil from the Dreadwolf.
Makes sense.
The Veil Guard. So now you have like the whole idea of this party game. You have a game named after the party.
Right, you're building a team of some sort.
Right.
With the characters that you get, yeah.
From what I've heard, that this trailer is very bad, and that behind closed doors at SGF, that this game showed very well. And that this trailer did a very big disservice to the way that this game looks, because
Really?
it looks very much like old Dragon Age when it's actually in the game.
Yeah, I would have no idea what the game even does from that trailer.
Right. So the original, it's weird because like Dragon Age has also gone through this like curve of gameplay as well while they're trying to find this footing with this series. Where the first one is a like classic BioWare turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Same thing with Awakening, and then Inquisition is a third-person action game. This seems like it's going to be that. That's what they've said.
Yeah.
It still very much looks like the first two, and but it's not going to be turn-based. They're going away from turn-based. I don't think BioWare will ever make a turn-based game again.
Really?
Yeah, they've been far away from that for so long. Between Mass Effect and then Anthem and stuff. Like, I don't think any of those turn-based BioWare people are even there anymore.
Oh, wow.
A lot of those people, I imagine, are like Larian with Baldur's Gate. I mean, you have also like the fucking In Exile. A lot of those dudes are old BioWare people. They make the Wasteland games, and those are also a lot of old Fallout people as well. So a lot of that DNA is still carried over, but in just other studios now creating these things.
Oh, right, yeah.
But those CRPGs are still they don't come out often. I mean, they used to be like the biggest fucking thing in the world between like KOTOR and stuff like that. Baldur's Gate again. I mean, D&D with like Neverwinter and stuff like that. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, like these games were pretty popular. At least in video games at the time, but as the more mainstream games started bloating in popularity, not in bloating in a bad sense, but like games back then didn't sell 10 million units.
Right.
And now you have every Nintendo game selling 10 million units.
Right.
It's very rare that a
There's so
Nintendo
many
game
people
doesn't.
now.
Yeah. There's just so much more in games. So Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of the exception as of to what those games would have sold back in the day.
Yeah.
Where Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the best-selling CRPG of all time. If you were to look at numbers, it's definitely the best-selling Baldur's Gate altogether. Probably, if you combine all the sales of those previous games, it probably still outsold that. That's how much BGS 3 sold. And again, that game was locked to PC for a very long time.
Yeah.
It was in early access for like 2 years. It was a PlayStation exclusive by default just because they couldn't get it running on a Series S for a long time.
That's funny.
And then now it's finally on Xbox. I'd imagine that game's going to have a resurgence when they get it out on Switch 2. Whenever that comes out, because I mean those games, any CRPG, if you give it touchscreen support, it's so many people will play it on Switch.
Yeah.
It's like Civ. Their best-selling Civ is on Switch.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Play that on a touchscreen.
Yeah, Civ 6 is sold so many units just because of the Switch.
Yeah, it's like
copy
even
alone.
more like a board game if you can touch everything.
Right, exactly. So I'd imagine, BGS 3 would be like that. Dragon Age sells very well. Dragon Age Inquisition was a Game of the Year contender of the time. A lot of people gave it Game of the Year that year. I think he even might have won Game of the Year at the Game Awards that year.
Oh, nice.
So they do have a lot riding on this, but also this is the team that made Anthem.
Yeah.
So you have one of the best-selling, and Mass Effect as well, and best-selling games of all time, some of the best-selling series, and then you have the team that has made Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and nothing else since.
Wow. Interesting.
And you have a weird dichotomy with
Yeah.
that. Dragon Age Inquisition came out, Game of the Year contender, and then you got Mass Effect Andromeda shortly after that. And then Anthem. And then now we're here. I want to say Dreadwolf was announced in 2019 as well. It's been that long.
Wow.
I want to say that Mass Effect and Anthem has came out in the time that they've announced this game.
That's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of time.
A lot of time, and like I said, every single time we've seen it, it's just been a dev diary with concept art.
Yeah.
And it's been several times.
And even now, it was just a trailer. There was no gameplay.
Right, yeah, the gameplay was all behind closed doors, which is extremely frustrating.
Right.
Because we're here trying to make a judgment on what you
This is
have.
supposed to be the open door, yeah.
Right.
At least open window.
Yeah, I mean, like, with these E3 things, there's always behind closed door stuff, but you always just want to put your best foot forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not that, for sure. I mean, I don't mind if you put in your one headphone and you listen to it, because I've heard all of this, so I don't necessarily need to. It might be a little loud in here, but... Yeah, one's a left, one's a right. Remember back in the day when they were, like, interchangeable, and now everything wants to, like, go inside of you. This is just a horror DLC for Starfield. A lot of people are kind of mixed on what they ended up showing here. Like, the people who are into Starfield very much want this to be great, and it seems like it might be. At least for them. They also, in this trailer, announced mod support and stuff. The Creators Club, which they had in, like, Fallout 4. And I think 76 also has a Creators Club as well. That got shadow dropped with this trailer. And people are complaining about pricing and stuff like that, or, like, a lot of the Creators Club stuff is like skins and like little items and stuff that you can add to your world, and they usually only cost like $1 or $2, and it's just supporting like a small little creator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the Creators Club being a mod thing that Bethesda is like attached to, Bethesda also gets a cut and stuff, and like you can't just like buy it outright. You have to like buy a weird currency. It's like, I think it's called just Creator Club points or whatever. And they've ran the math, and it's like some things are like, people are saying like it's $7 for a single quest.
Wow.
And stuff like that. If you did the math, 300 points is like the equivalent of like $3.
Yeah. So it's like one of those stuffies or something.
Right. So like it's there's like a weird thing. It's outside of my wheelhouse and stuff, but like there is stuff going on with that. But the horror DLC itself of like just going to an abandoned spaceship in the middle of space that's like everything could be haunted, and there's like some weird ethereal power with the cosmos happening.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
That's pretty neat, yeah.
Yeah. We get a big ass update to Fallout 76 here. They announced the first map expansion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they've had a couple of DLCs that are expansions, like the pit and stuff like that, where you go to a different zone entirely that's not on the main map.
Right.
And you do like a predetermined quest line and stuff, and there's like some side things, but it's very much a smaller thing. This, they're almost doubling the actual game map in size.
That's pretty crazy.
And they're adding like 7 new vaults or something like that. They also shadow dropped this. This is all out now, I believe. The only thing that they announced in this thing is for 2025 that you'll be able to play as a ghoul for the first time.
Oh wow.
And that will come with its own set of perks and enjoyable things like radiation heals you, but you know, you gotta take your Rad-X or whatever so you don't go feral.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Wow, yeah. I guess that the show really kind of...
Right. And Todd Howard very much helped write that show. He's talked about how he sees that show as a Fallout 5, very much. It's just another...
Oh, absolutely. It's totally like another
story.
extension of the universe.
Yeah, and it very much should be.
Yeah, no reason why it shouldn't. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It fits well. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mentioned that at the end of the last episode. Like, as soon as we finished rolling, that I had watched the show, and I had binged it all in a night, like a month ago. But I have seen that Fallout show. We should do a spoiler deep dive on that at some point, because that was fun.
That was a good show, yeah.
This is I couldn't even tell you the name of this game, man. It's like something Obscura 33.
Okay.
This is a turn-based RPG made by ex-Ubisoft people. I believe... I don't even remember what Ubisoft team specifically, but Kepler is publishing, which they publish a lot of indie games and stuff like that. This is straight up, the Ubisoft people were like, what about if we made a Final Fantasy?
Wow.
And that's what they did here. You have a lot of turn-based mixed with action combat. It's very much looks like a mix between like Final Fantasy VII and just Final Fantasy in general.
Yeah.
Like you have like some free range with the movement, but it very much, this looks like just very beautifully rendered turn-based combat.
Yeah.
Very stylish. But it has like some Soulsy like bosses and stuff.
Yeah, the bosses are nice.
Yeah, I wish these were a Souls game, because I want to be up and close and like in their shit. But it's a really pretty game. I don't know if it's one that I'll be playing, but assuming if it comes to Game Pass. Yeah, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is the name of that game. Another
That's
2025.
So is it going to be
Yeah, this
a
Game Pass.
Claire Obscure...
I've
They're going to be a chain of them?
I have no clue.
Because Claire Obscure sounds like a character that they'd make a continuum of.
Yeah, I don't remember what the idea of the story is. I think the idea of the story is that there's a population problem, so everybody that is living has to stay in the city, but they have to like send these people out to go get resources, and that's why after one dies or something like that. I don't remember the exact same things. This is still in your ear. That's great. This is the grand reveal for South of Midnight. South of Midnight we saw the first time the last Xbox thing. It is the Compulsion team. They made We Happy Few in contrast.
I'm all ears.
I am in awe of what they have here
You were
art
making
style
fun, right?
wise.
Oh, can't abide the sound of bell.
I think this
Some
looks
church
great.
folk once tried
I
to
love
die
New
about
Orleans.
him. He didn't take it too
I
kindly.
love the sweaty,
If you
humid
ring
south
that bell,
swamps.
he might skedaddle.
You better not skedaddle.
Go on now, scoot.
Sometimes
pick you
I
up
like the
yonder
sweaty,
after to
humid
go find your
southern
mama.
swamps. At least in vibes, there's not a lot of video games with that vibe. So it's cool, and we actually get to see gameplay here. I don't think the gameplay is anything too crazy. We do get a lot of crazy, not crazy, but a lot of cool movement abilities and stuff. But it looks like up there in that left corner, you have like a grapple thing that you can kind of like change directions with your button movement.
Yeah.
Like you got like a hook and like a backswing and a upswing or something like that. But this is just a straight up Soulsy third-person action game. It might not be a complete Souls game, but I mean, you got a dodge roll and a strafe and a parry.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm pressing circle to dodge here, and I'm using the triggers to attack. It looks like we got cooldowns actually on the heavier triggers, and then we're probably pressing RB to attack.
All right, time to find that church.
But yeah, you kill that monster thing. Get some flora in this area. A lot of it reminds me of like a Disney film,
Now to get over there.
like in the way it
Yeah.
looks. Like this is the setting to Enchanted, or Tangled. That's the Rapunzel movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like the setting of Tangled to me, and like color and lighting.
Yeah, it's
and
very.
stuff.
It has like a fantastical element to it.
Yeah.
Like everything's a little extra
Right.
color stylized.
Yeah, there's like there's like slight cell shading as well, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Like some things have hard black lines, some things don't. Which gives it like a weird full depth. Like that up there on the left had like hard black lines, but then all of the flora and stuff was like oil painted. I think this game looks amazing in motion. Like, I know the frame rate shit, like, a lot of people are mixed on, like, this Spider-Verse style.
Yeah, I think it looks cool in a trailer.
Yeah.
I think when you're playing it, it's a little janky because it kind of looks like the game's having trouble loading or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, like,
For
I think
sure.
mentally it kind of messes with you a little bit because it's like, if you see a game skip like that normally, it's like, oh man, maybe I should reset the game or something, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's just like a mental hurdle you might have to jump through for this game specifically. Because like when you're watching it, when you're not playing it, you don't get that feeling because it does feel like the Spider-Verse or something. But I don't know when you're playing it. Maybe it'll feel better once you're actually controller in hand
Right.
and it'll fit with what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it looks great regardless, but I think that that's going to be like something I'm going to be constantly telling myself, like, no, this is the game.
This
it's
is
not,
the game, it's not.
It's not an issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you go play Spider-Man and put on the Spider-Verse suit and see how you like that.
Yeah, that might be a good, that's a good way to do it too. Maybe they were just kind of hoping also that like that style has kind of, because they've made a few different things with it now, it's kind of become,
Right, it's become more normalized.
well, yeah.
But like this team has been working on this game for presumably just as long as the State of Decay 3 team. Presumably Compulsion has been hacking away at this game.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Verse was still brand new at the time.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder, like, did they have a different concept in mind? And
Yeah.
then they got introduced to that and was like, let's do that instead.
Right.
Because it always looked like it was going to be kind of claymation.
Right. Yeah, or almost always stop motion, and they kind of realized how hard actual stop motion would be, kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, Harold Halibut
Came out. Yeah.
that's all stop motion, 100%.
For sure. Have you heard the story of that game, though?
No.
That game got announced at E3 of 2008.
Yeah, it takes a long time to do.
That game is like a
Stop
miracle
motion. It
that
takes
that game
forever to
ever
do that.
came out. Let alone it has the same story from the original 2008 game.
Yeah.
It is a miracle that that thing even exists. And I mean, that's like one dude, a passion project,
Right.
like kind of thing, versus like Compulsion being owned by Xbox is like, I mean, they have all of the time and the money in the world technically, but it's only as much of a leash that Xbox is willing to give them.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And as of recently, we saw what happens when Xbox doesn't like the outcome of a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they do put out a great game like Hi-Fi Rush or something like that, you do have people worried here of like, once these games come out, are they also going to get the ounce? It's kind of like the word around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the World of Warcraft expansion,
I don't
but
care
that
about
was
World of
going
Warcraft.
on.
Yeah, we already
knew.
knew about that anyways.
Yeah.
They introduced that in the last thing.
Speaking of things we already knew of, but we are seeing for the first time as well, this is the first big reveal for the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh yeah, yeah, we talked about this. in the last one, too.
No, we didn't. We talked about it after.
Oh, that's right.
Patrick
I
and I
forgot.
had like an hour-long conversation after
We did
the
watch
podcast.
some of this. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because there was like stuff I was just really excited about at the time. Because I mean, we talked about with SGF and stuff, and that was such a long episode, but there was so much down, and there's a lot of happiness to that, and like games are cool and stuff. There's a lot of very down on the games that were announced, and like it didn't feel like a complete happy show. So like I did show him, I was like, this, you gotta see how fucking cool this is.
Is this like year one Snake or something?
Yes, this is, I believe, a prequel to 1 is how the story goes. There is I could not tell you the Metal Gear story, man.
Oh, me neither. I know it's very convoluted, but he just looked so young in this. I was like, man,
Yes, this is a very young Snake. I want to say it's a prequel to 1.
Yeah, because it seemed like that was like his origin, because they were like, this is Project Snake Eater, we're gonna call you Snake from now on.
Right.
It's like,
well, they call you Naked Snake.
the origin. Oh yeah, Naked Snake.
Right, because they're sending you into the jungle with nothing.
With nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sick origin, to be
Pretty
honest.
cool.
That is definitely one way to get toughened up.
Right.
Make or break you.
A lot of I've never actually beat the original Snake Eater.
Oh, that was what I was gonna do. I was gonna go home and watch the lore of all of it, so I don't have to play any of the games. Yeah.
Jeez, that might take just as long as playing them, man.
I watch lore videos all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
5-hour documentaries of freaking.
It's like Metal Gear Solid 4 opens with a 4-hour cutscene.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna get the Sparks Note version. I'm gonna have some YouTuber do all the work for me and summarize it. But.
Yeah, I mean, some of that like extra. I do want to see it in person, like just how much up its own ass it is. But
yeah,
there is so much of that game that's up its own ass, but it's so self-aware of what it's doing that it kind of like
that's the whole
redeems
draw
itself.
of it, I think. Yeah.
Versus like Death Stranding on
it's
the
like
other
almost
hand.
a parody of itself.
Yeah. Versus Death Stranding, I feel like is straight up Kojima in his own shit.
Yeah.
Like none of it feels self-aware, even though I mean he definitely is self-aware, but he's so much in I'm in my self-aware bubble. It's such a Kojima's such a weird auteur. But Death Stranding 2 feels pretentious in a way that somehow Metal Gear Solid 4 doesn't. This is Flintlock. This game looks sick as shit.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
This comes to Game Pass in like 3 weeks.
Use this classic song. Classic royalty-free opera song.
Oh yeah, right. It's the fucking Mozart or something like that.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, usually used for like action movies.
Right. Yeah, we've seen this game a couple of times. Every time it's been an Xbox showing, and they've announced it with Game Pass. This game is so hype. I don't know, man.
Light.
Yeah. Is that what they called it in the trailer?
Yeah.
That's funny. You get like your little companion thing, and you have a cuff parry thing with your arm, but like really it's the Bloodborne thing where you're fucking shooting dudes mid-attack, and I love that.
Yeah, I like the little weird thing you get, little creature.
Yeah, a little fox dude. Yeah. Hell yeah. Flintlock. Next game, I believe, is another small thing. Yeah. So we get another look. We've seen this a couple of times as well. This might be a little bit more up your shit, but definitely Kyle. This is Age of Mythology Retold. This is the remaster of the Age of Mythology games. Age of Mythology was a spin-off of Age of Empires. It's all like Greek, mythology.
Yeah, all the gods and shit.
Yeah, it might be more than just Greek. I've always just seen Zeus and presumed, but it looks like you have like Egyptian stuff and like maybe some Roman shit, some Viking lore and stuff.
It might just be the entire mythos.
Yeah.
Minus.
Right. Tiny could be in there too.
That's true, maybe they finally did it. I'm waiting for a day when they finally put Jesus in a Mythos game. They finally just need to bite the bullet and admit that it's also... Why can't it also be considered...
A myth.
Right. Yeah. Why not? It's just American... It's Western mythology.
Yeah, I agree. There is that I Am Jesus game that's still not out yet. That eventually is gonna come out. Fuck, dude. This shit right here. September 4th on Age of Mythology. That's cool. No console on that, I think is what it said. Which is kind of crazy, because I think Age of Empires 4... Oh no, it does say console. Okay, I was gonna say Age of Empires 4 did launch on console day one. So it would be weird for them to kind of go back to doing just PC and then console later. But no, it's coming everything. Everything Xbox related.
Your target is in possession of a
Oh
radioactive
shit.
device.
Speaking of 9/11.
Yeah.
We're back.
This right here is the shit. Patrick, I think we've talked about the N64 before, but
I'm sure we mentioned it.
do you have any N64 nostalgia?
I was wrong.
I think one time I played
where it's a pleasant 23 degrees all day.
So no.
the Ninja Turtles game.
One time.
Yeah.
No, you don't. There was a game for the N64 called Perfect Dark.
Okay. I've heard of
To
it.
improvise.
Perfect Dark was a spiritual successor to the GoldenEye game that everybody very famously loves.
Right.
Perfect Dark is also very highly regarded. In 2006, they decided to make a sequel to the Perfect Dark called Perfect Dark Zero. It came to very middling reviews.
Yeah.
They said back then that eventually they would go back to Perfect Dark, but Rare never ended up going back to Perfect Dark. we eventually would find out that it's because it took them 9 years to develop Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is now doing very well. In 2019, I believe it was 2019, maybe it was even earlier than that, Xbox had announced that they were opening a new studio called The Initiative, and they would be working on a sequel to the Perfect Dark series. And then they went dark.
Scans clear.
And then we started hearing a bunch of shit from that studio of like people, like team leads that were hired on to make the game leaving, the initial ideas of the game being scrapped, them bringing in Crystal Dynamics to finish the game, and all of this is kind of like in the rumor mill, leaking out kind of thing, but again, this whole time the initiative has been dark on the game. This is the first time we are seeing anything besides a tease for the game. The first initial reveal was kind of that Data Dying building with all of the flora and stuff on top of it, but then he just says, Joanna Dark, and then they show a title and then nothing else.
I had to lose everything.
This is the first time we've seen it, 5-6 years now, and they're coming out with gameplay. I think this looks phenomenal.
Really hiding.
You got some weird, like, immersive sim stuff with, like, hacking shit. A lot of people, like, I'll go back, actually, rewind a little bit, but a lot of people were like, there's not enough alien shit in this game. All of Perfect Dark is about alien technology and, like, what the wrong people would do with it. And like the whole ending of
Joanna Dark
Perfect Dark 1 is kidnapping an alien and
war
like
over advanced
rescuing it.
His
name's
the
Elvis,
lives of millions.
and he's
We
kind of
hope you
like
enjoyed the first look at
there's
gameplay,
been other
and we
games that
can't
have
wait to
referenced
share more
Elvis
from
the
the
alien
developers
before
at the
since then,
Initiative
but
and
it
Crystal
all
Dynamics
comes from
as the
Perfect
game
Dark.
progresses.
Oh, word.
The
I think he was like in
creativity
Tony
and
Hawk's Pro
talent
Skater
of
3.
game creators
that's
are
funny.
what
Yeah,
makes our
that's
industry
actually
unique. And I'm
maybe it's
incredibly
even in
proud
Tony
of
Hawk's
our
Pro
games
Skater
and our
1.
teams.
There is an
They
alien
are
level
building
in
a
Tony Hawk's
diverse
Pro
lineup
Skater
of
1 that
titles,
is a
which
reference
includes
to Perfect
new
Dark.
installments and beloved franchises like Doom.
Yeah,
Dark
I think you
Ages from
see
id
Elvis
Software,
the alien on
updates and expansions
table.
to our ongoing
okay.
games
That level.
like
Word,
World of
that's pretty
Warcraft,
cool.
The War Within
Yeah.
from Blizzard.
Yeah, so
Handcrafted original
that just
concepts, like
this
South of
being
Midgard.
able to see that game for the first time is crazy. And then right there at the end, I don't know what people are saying with not seeing enough alien shit, because obviously
What this
we're
world is really
getting
hiding.
the energy and stuff to grow all of this flora somewhere, and it looks like we have some like weird alien.
Yeah, they're not gonna reveal all the alien
Here.
stuff right off the bat. That's something they want to probably
Yeah.
get you with later or whatever.
But that looks like straight up like some alien supercomputer shit right there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like pixelating and stuff. Like, that looks like a...
Yeah, I'm sure that
galaxies,
there's
like-
some sort of... They're not gonna reveal the whole story. They're
Oh,
just being like, hey, we're back. Get ready.
Yeah, you just have... You have so many things that you can pick out from this trailer that are references and stuff.
Yeah.
It does look like that not only is there this idea of like a lot less alien things, Joanna seems to also be working for the opposite side in this game. They are calling it kind of Perfect Dark 2, with the little quotes at
Right.
the end of it.
Yeah. Like a subtle...
Yeah, like a subtle 2. It's like Perfect Dark 2.
Yeah. Like for some people, it could be the first Perfect Dark.
Right.
Perfect Dark, and maybe they like made it to where if you know, you know, but if not, you could experience this
Right.
and have enough.
Yeah, because it seems like they're completely rebooting her story, or at least in a way it seems like she's working for the opposite side of the whole first game.
Yeah.
Where like the corporation that you're fighting against, and she's very much using their technology and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think even the reference, like the voice talking to you, is like supposed to be the voice from that first game, the Joanna Dar. Yeah, there's a lot to speculate here. No date, no year tied to that.
Yeah, I don't have any nostalgia to it, so
Yeah.
Agent
Yeah,
Joanna
it just looks like another
caught in
game
the
to me.
middle
You can
of a
play it though.
near-future
It is
war over
it's on Game
advanced
Pass. It's part of Rare
technology
Replay.
that
So
threatens
if you
the
do
lives
ever
of
want to play
millions.
Perfect Dark,
We hope you
I
enjoyed
think
the
both
first
of
look
them
at
are on there.
gameplay,
Oh,
and we
really?
can't
Yeah.
wait to share more from the
Again, the
developers
second
at
one's
the
not as good as the
initiative
first
and
one. The
Crystal
first one still
Dynamics
very much
as the
holds
game
up.
progresses.
I don't know if they ever
Creativity and talent
retooled those
of game
controls,
creators
but
are what
they
make
probably
our
should.
industry
Rare
unique.
Replay is such
And
a
I'm
cool package
incredibly
for
proud of our
N64
games
nostalgia.
and our
Because
teams.
Banjo Kazooie's on
They're
there.
building
Alright.
a
Conker's
diverse
Bad
lineup
Fur
of
Day.
titles, which
Yeah.
includes
Perfect Dark's
new
on there.
installments in beloved franchises like
yeah,
Doom,
great
The
game,
Dark
great
Ages
game.
from id Software. Updates and
You get Matt
expansions
Booty
to
now
our
on
ongoing
stage.
games,
Remember, Matt
like World
Booty
of
is the guy
Warcraft,
who
The War
sent
Within
out
from
that
Blizzard,
letter announcing that all the
handcrafted
studios were
original concepts
closing, and
like South of
also
Midnight from Compulsion Games. And
misnamed
blockbuster
the
games
studio
with massive
of one of
audiences
them.
like Call of Duty,
But he
Called
has
like
Black
the
Ops
wrong
6
name.
from Activision.
Yeah,
On
he has
behalf
this nice
of our creative
bomber
teams at
jacket.
Right.
Activision,
I'm sure it says
Bethesda,
Xbox on the back.
Blizzard, King,
Right.
Yeah. They also got him to stand
Diablo
next to
is
this
one of
thing.
the
This
most
is Vessel of
enduring
Hatred.
and beloved series
People
in
are
all of gaming.
tweeting that. We get
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, they memed him a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he's self-aware of that. He's like, just go ahead and hate me. I know what I did.
He always has been very self-aware, and he's been in the industry forever.
Right.
So, like, that's the thing of, like, Matt Booty and Phil have been tied to Xbox and Microsoft for, like, 20 years. Well over 20 years by this point. This is a reveal for the Diablo 4 expansion. This is another cinematic trailer thing. It is a little bit more fucked up and entertaining than the Diablo one. She gets strung up by her veins in her arms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pretty gnarly. I
That's
forgot.
some, like,
It's some really old god demon shit. I forgot the name of the actual demon. They show him though.
what's the
His
god
name.
with the cube?
I know Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's some, like, Hellraiser shit.
For sure. Like Cenobites.
Yeah, the Cenobites.
Yeah.
Yes, that's some Cenobite-esque.
Yeah, for sure. I forgot the actual name of the demon though, because they do show him right there. A lot of Diablo's demons are real demons, which I've always loved. You can like read books on all these motherfuckers. Yeah. I as a metal fan, completely.
Honestly,
into
that
it.
scene is sick, dude.
Yeah.
She didn't even have arms. Like, they were split.
Yeah. But as a gameplay trailer, we're not seeing anything of what.
Yeah,
this
that's not what it's gonna
means.
look like at all. What does that translate to, right?
Right.
She just fucking did that to her buddy.
Yeah, they're
That
not.
sucks.
They're not announcing like a class here or anything with this. Like apparently,
They just wanted to give you a really sad story. This whole thing's just been very depressing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like it's all because she saw a vision from her mom or something like that, and then it turned out to be like the demon or something like that. But she's like on the way to go find like the tomb of this thing. She like worships it. I forgot his name. It's like Raza or something like that. Yeah, it comes out October. Yeah, October 8th. After that, the next big reveal, we get Fable. This is honestly probably what they should have showed off to begin with. This is probably they should have probably never showed that first trailer initially. I think this here has a lot more. It has a lot more of the same kind of British humor.
Is this the same game that has that giant British guy from the
Community.
Community,
Yep. Or the IT crowd.
but not the same game.
No, it's the same game.
Oh, that giant guy,
You get your
the giant guy from IT Crowd's in this too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fan club.
It's the same game.
He's not in this trailer at all.
No, I forgot what his name is. He's from something as well. I think he's from like What We Do in the Shadows or something like that.
No, maybe the movie, not the show.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the characters in the movie. They're different.
Yeah, he's some character also from the UK.
British entertainment.
Yeah, and then fucking Codsworth from Fallout is also in this somewhere as well. He's in another game that we should look at eventually. Maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll get to the smaller showcases. Nintendo having a showcase kind of threw a wrench into everything.
Yeah, a fun wrench.
For sure.
Like a wrench that like squeaks.
Yeah.
More like a rubber chicken, I guess.
One of those socket wrenches that have a loud click.
Yeah.
I think this looks great. That combat looks fantastic.
Terrifying. So
I think that looks great.
You just go once. Made.
I think it was a little brief.
For sure.
I mean, because a lot of this is still from the other one.
No, we had all those shots were new.
I meant, well, yeah, but the cinematic stuff I meant, like the whole him sitting in the chair. Oh, that's right. This is still something we watched.
Right. Yeah.
I'm never not gonna remember that.
Right. So we did watch part of that as a trailer. You were like in the middle of heading out.
Yes,
the door,
yes.
when we were like watching part of it.
No, wait, we saw this already, but no, we technically.
Right.
We didn't. But yeah, okay.
This is all.
It does look sick then. Yeah.
The idea that is being thrown out now is that
the wrong choice.
This whole time they think
Humphrey.
you're referencing.
She's back.
He's referencing your player character this whole time. Now, second, third watching, fourth watching, people are talking and stuff. It seems like that whole time he's talking about the villain of the game. Because if you go back to the end,
the wrong choice.
what she says is
Humphrey.
like she's returned or something like that.
She's back.
She's definitely not talking about herself.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
But wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah,
Like you play for a while and then you end up being the bad guy. And
that would be sick. That would be sick. I don't know who the villain could be though. I think we saw a black female lead, yeah, here.
And the occasional.
I dig her vibe. She had like a purple. Maybe it was just the lighting of where they're at.
But it's more than that.
I thought her outfit had like some purple to it.
Choices you make.
I was like, she has like some. Yeah. Who is she? Maybe she's just some side character, but it seems like she might have like this sisterly kind of like, you know,
maybe
evil sister kind of thing going on. Or what about if your this player character is the one that is evil, and then you got this other lady being
Yeah, I still don't know where the giant British character is gonna play.
Oh, I think that was just like a side quest thing.
You know what it's like?
Yeah.
You have a point to prove.
I think you're gonna get Witcher-sized side quests out of this game, for sure. And a lot of The Witcher is just a whole bunch of famous British actors. Same thing with Souls. Souls, like everybody that in those games that are voiced are all famous people. Like fucking Patrick Stewart and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And like, yeah, like crazy character actors.
Wow.
She's back.
Yeah. But this game is. There's money put into this. They got some big.
Oh yeah,
names.
Definitely, yeah.
But like the main cast, I couldn't tell you who any of these people are, character-wise. Then they haven't revealed names to who's playing them. So we just theoretically the only member of the cast that we know is that dude from the IT crowd.
Yeah. Or we're just very not up to date with our British television entertainers. I mean, I watch a lot of Taskmaster, and that's 5 new British comedians every season. I think they're on season like 25 now.
Oh, yeah,
and at this point, I may recognize 1 per panel because they're just running. I mean, they're not running out. They have a continuous amount, but
Right.
like they're running out of the ones that I've seen.
All the
growing
old
up,
guys.
and,
Yeah.
well, not even like old guys, just my generation of
People, yeah.
people, even like people in the IT crowd and stuff. Like they've just ran through most of these
Oh, yeah.
actors and comedians, and they've gone on to the newer generations, which is how things work. But it's
Right.
like, oh, well, now I gotta figure out who all these fucking
Right.
what movies are they in? Are they just stand-ups? Because that's the
Are
other
they
thing
just
too. They don't
TikTokers?
just.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've leaned toward TikTok yet.
No, not
They-
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Maybe YouTube, but they're pretty. BBC's pretty tight knit with their like.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're small, so it's
yeah,
like.
so I wonder if you get a lot of video game actors and stuff.
So I feel like it'll be a lot of like, yeah, because a lot of their actors like do a lot of like dual. I mean, we do too, but they have a lot of dual roles where like
Right.
they're comedians, but they're in drama and stuff. So I wonder.
Right.
I don't know if it's strictly comedians or if they do ask other types of entertainers. At this
I've
point, like I
actually
said,
never seen
it's
the
so
show.
far.
I know what the show is, but I never actually watched it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I know, like, it does involve celebrities doing tasks.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know how far they've gone, how far they've evolved since the first few seasons. Because that was like my pandemic show, but you could only watch it through YouTube.
Yeah.
And then the seasons were limited, and now they're just like, it's become huge. They've traveled over here now and stuff. But,
Huh. Damn.
but yeah,
That's such a long series.
I'm waiting
28 seasons
I'm waiting
or
for
something.
America to just start doing it. Because all the countries are already doing it. There's already a Taskmaster New Zealand and a Taskmaster, yeah. So
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like the
I'm
Real
waiting
World
for,
or any of those. Survivor is another one that has like all the others.
Yeah, I'm waiting for us to ruin it. Because they're very wholesome with their games. Like, they're all clean jokes. You know, they don't try to do anything too extreme. There's nothing like, it's not like extreme sports or anything. Like, everything's pretty witty, and, you know, maybe you have to think an extra step to kind of, you know, they're puzzles.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if America does that, it'll turn into some sort of like celebrity ninja warrior or some shit.
For sure.
You know, or like Big Brother or something. Like
Right.
something ridiculous.
My favorite was like Silent Library. You know,
I
those
love,
kinds
yeah,
of
Silent
shows.
Library was good. See, that would be more, yeah. That was a good one too. Anyways, sorry, we have
speaking of-
so much time to go.
Speaking of competitions, this is a 5v5 action shooter, and this is one that actually caught my attention.
It's my turn.
You go in with a random set of cards that you pick out before the match.
Oh, didn't we talk about this a while ago?
Maybe. I feel like another game kind of had a similar idea,
Maybe that's what
but
it was.
it wasn't as in your face about it. This is, if I was into multiplayer shooters, this might be the game for me. Because you get you get tall grass, you got stealth now. Big head mode, you got easier headshots. You got the Grim Reaper dude who like spawns behind people. It's a one-shot kill.
That
you
looks
can
cool.
use.
And it looks like the map, up at the very top of the trailer, looks like how it flipped. Maybe
Yeah.
that was a card?
Yeah,
Or maybe that was
the
the
world
map.
flip
Was
card.
was it a
Yeah.
card?
Yeah, I think that was the first card that they showed at the
okay.
beginning of the trailer, but they didn't actually show it.
Yeah. No, that does look like a
There is nothing left
cool...
for me in the city.
Yeah.
Because you have to kind of be
I have travelled back to where I grew up.
even more
Here,
aware. It's not just
Right.
like,
childhood home in
oh, I'm going to be against this guy, so watch out for grapples. It's like you have no idea necessarily what they're going to...
Right, and then you got to be aware of, like, in that big head mode, I mean, obviously it didn't turn everyone's head big, it turned, like, those people in that
Just the
section.
surrounding area, yeah.
So it's like, well, do I use this card on one person, or do I
I
use
will
this
make the
card
tree
when I have a
stump a
group
cozy
of
home
people?
again.
Right.
No matter
Kind of
what it
thing.
takes.
And I'd imagine cards
No
also
matter how
have
hard
various
it gets.
different AoEs and stuff.
Yeah, they're probably limited.
This is, I forgot the name of this game.
And beauty.
Reminds me of like an old childhood book.
Yeah, yeah,
Some will
very much
say
so.
that in the dead of
It's
winter,
very much
a
don't
small
starve,
city house
but you're a
doesn't
tiny
stand a
mouse.
chance.
Right, yeah, it's literally, yeah.
Maybe so,
But yeah, it reminds me of
but I must keep
Like one of those, what are the
that
golden,
every winter leads to spring.
they have the golden spine on them.
Golden Spine.
What are the books?
Are we thinking of the same thing? I don't know, man. I'm probably not. I was gonna say Redwall because it's tiny mouse, tiny mice.
What's Redwall?
Redwall is like Lord of the Rings, except it's mice versus rats.
No, I'm thinking of like a collection of childhood books.
Yeah, Redwall.
Lord of the
My
Rings?
next spend
No,
others to my will.
Oh, Redwall is like
Strange, almost cosmic talent.
young adult.
No, these are childhood. Child books.
Go back to a
Yeah.
time where summers lasted forever, when friendships were
Well,
unbreakable.
not.
and
I
any
mean,
trouble
I know
was
it's not
good
that,
trouble.
but I'm saying like that age demographic.
No, but there's like a collection of them. They're like,
What's your name again?
if you saw, I feel like if you saw them, you'd be like,
Word. Well, you Google it. This next game is an indie game made by, I think it's Beethoven T-Rex is the name of the
My
studio.
mixtapes spend others to my
They
will.
were the team that made a game
It's
called Artful
strange, almost
Escape.
cosmic talent.
This is the next coming of age story from them.
Go back to a time where
About a
summers
group of
lasted
kids in
forever,
the
when friendships were
mid-90s growing up,
unbreakable,
coming
and
of
any
age.
trouble
oh, it's that
was
same art
good
style.
trouble.
Yeah,
This year,
same
I wanna
same
write a
style
flaming
as
stallion
Artful
of
Escape. It's a
divinity.
little bit more down
What's
to
your
earth.
name?
I feel like
From
Artful
Beethoven and
Escape was a
Dinosaur
lot more
comes an
psychedelic.
adventure.
Oh no, I meant this
Stuff.
is the same art style as that Bayou game.
Oh yeah, it has that
Experience the
frame rate
freedom
for
of
sure.
the teenage wasteland, sneaking out.
Yeah, I think it's a
making
little bit
out,
more water
avoiding
painted.
the law,
Yeah, I
and
guess
maybe
I'm
something
just splitting
a
hairs
little
there.
more.
Yeah, it's very. You're right.
Hey, can I stand up?
You're right for sure.
It's definitely a little more
Set to
artsy,
the soundtrack of a generation.
stylized,
Yeah, I
but
think
it's
just
similar.
the colors.
Yeah.
That's throwing me off. Like, yeah, it's a lot more purples instead of grays. South of Midnight was definitely a
We're
lot
gonna
more
think of ourselves in
grayscale
10
than
years.
this. It's a lot more.
I'll just remember to tell myself.
But I don't know. The Artful
important.
Escape.
Yeah,
was
you've never
really
seen
cool.
these little golden books?
Your greatest memory
This isn't like-
Maybe I have, but,
music.
It's literally like all the spines are
Oh,
gold.
I've seen the spines.
So
before.
when, yeah, the spines, that's all you need to know.
But that's like
There
the
have been
penguin.
No
But yeah, all the art styles are like in that same, like literally looks just like
The
the,
puppy book. and
yeah,
the Little
it's that
Instruments.
same-
I had all those. Yeah, I think that's just like Penguin Publishing's like label, right? I think that's
I don't know who it belongs to, but I know that they had that specific spine.
Yeah.
But they're called Little Golden Book
Little
classics,
Golden
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
I
had
a
their
bunch
own
of those
original
too.
stories, and then Disney kind of.
Right. Yeah.
And then
I
some, like,
I had a
older
bunch of
Disney ones, yeah.
Yeah. Next trailer we get is another trailer for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
Nice.
It's
More jobs.
This is probably This is the one with all the jobs and stuff. It looks great. If you're into this is gonna be another great one. All the jobs are crazy, but this isn't for me because I'm not smart enough to fly a plane.
I don't think I've ever had the interest of flying a plane.
Right. That's probably half the battle is that I would need to have the interest to fly one, but I don't. The interest to fly a fake one, at least. I mean, like, if somebody threw me in a plane and was like, you want to learn how to do this? I'd be like, yeah, sure.
I do like the idea of being able to just aerial advertise to fake people.
Right.
Like, how long do you just fly around with the banner?
Right, I
Alright,
don't...
you did it, 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be, like, quests tied to any of these jobs. They haven't really explained any of what the actual job
Yeah, do you just have a lot of,
experiences.
simulations? They just give you a lot of,
Right, are you just, like, a menu tab and it's like, now we're going to the aircraft pickup mode.
Right.
Because, like, that's how Flight Simulator used to be.
Yeah.
It was like you would have a menu and it'd be like, this airport.
You can get out.
This weather. Oh yeah, you have the photo mode and stuff.
You can get out of your plane.
Yeah.
But how far can you go? That's.
Yeah, who knows? Because like the original, or not the original, but the one that came out in 2020 was, it had a photo mode as well, but you could get pretty low to the ground.
Yeah, but that guy was out of his plane.
But yeah, he was out of your plane. I mean, he had like the whole hot air balloon mechanic and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like what are the
It's cool.
what are the parameters to that? Like, can I get out and like just fucking start walking around? Maybe a walk simulator.
I doubt it's gonna be that far out, but probably like 20 or 30 feet.
They probably have certain spots that you can land and.
Yeah, 'cause especially if it's supposed to be like a job system thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, part of the job would be like.
Because that's the thing with like with a hot air balloon, you can pretty much land anywhere that's open.
Right.
Like how limited? What are they going to limit me on?
Right. I'm gonna skip past this, but this is a cute trailer for Elder Scrolls Online with
Okay.
We belong as well. We
Yeah.
belong in heaven.
Right.
Celebrating 10 years.
Nice.
Who would have? What? Out of all the games that are like, we got a 10-year plan. We're gonna do this 10 years, and they all die on the vine. Like this game hitting 10 years in such a natural and not just like elegant way, but like a humble way. Like, of course they've always, like every single Bethesda showcase, they show off their new expansion. They're very happy about it. This is the new thing coming to ESO. But ESO has never been in your face about any of its player base. It's not WoW and Blizzard and stuff. It's not Destiny. It's not... I mean, Warframe is another one that's getting a little bit more arrogant with it. Of the time. That's another game that hit 10 years pretty recently in a very organic way. Destiny just finished 10 years, but it was a battle to get there.
Yeah.
This and they're not even close to being done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gold Road is the new expansion. June 18th.
World
Next week.
premiere.
What's today? It's like today, right? Today,
I
18th.
swore I'd
Yes.
never use
No,
my
it's the
power
19th.
again.
That was yesterday. It came out yesterday. After this, we get a
2 months
trailer
ago.
for. I don't know if you're
I found
even
my friend's body
a fan of
in
this
the
franchise.
woods.
It seems like you might be, because you like coming of age stories and stuff like that, and
I
like
do love that.
and like indie kind
don't know
of story
who I can
games. This is
trust.
the next sequel to Life is
Or
Strange.
who trusts me.
Oh yeah, I saw the first one. I
But
don't
my
think I beat
friend
it.
Sophie,
Oh really? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the actual
dead.
sequel to the first game.
Oh wow.
This is for the first time since the
can I
first
still
one. This
hear
is
her voice?
the next story in Max's storyline.
Focusing
Oh,
my
nice.
power.
This
I
is
see
Max, I think,
Shifting
10 years after the original game,
To our parallel timeline.
with a new version of her powers
Sophie is
and
still
stuff.
alive.
Yeah.
And it's a murder
Danger
mystery
stalks our
of
every step.
what's
And only I
happening
can
in this town.
investigate both realities.
Obviously, we're not in the same spot as I forgot what
It's the same
it's
as
like
this one,
Antarctica.
except
Or
You're
fuck, what is the name of that
dead.
place? It's like it's
I can
something
still save
Cadia,
Sophie.
Anchor
If I
Cadia,
could
or something
solve
like something like
and
that.
prevent the
You're not in
same
that
murder
town anymore. You're in a
across
new
2
town.
timelines.
And Max has kind of like rebuilt her life here. Yeah. They have a little bit more. They had like a their own Life is Strange showcase.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But they had a deep dive on that. I didn't pay much attention to that specifically, but hey, it's here. It's coming.
Yeah, that's cool.
It'll be episodic as well, like the other ones. They did say that, which was weird.
Are you
Yeah.
sure
I
you
think
want to
we should
investigate
be
these
done
things
We're
with
then?
that.
past that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't let this go. It could be the
This
best
is
case
Indiana
of
Jones
history.
and the Great Circle. It's nice
you
to
got
see
to do,
this. It was
Indiana?
kind of like the no shit of it being here.
these
This is
artifacts.
obviously,
Deep
this
connection
is the
of
big
something
game
in the
for
past.
Xbox this year.
Boss believes they hold a kind of
They
power.
still don't give it a date,
Discovery that can change
but they
the
show a
world.
little bit of gameplay here, and then they give you like a 3-minute cutscene of Indy on this boat arguing with this Nazi.
Well, they had to be like, yeah, we got classic Indiana Jones.
Right, but it's not like there's no action here. It's just them talking.
Hmm.
Fear of heights.
It's probably telling you that it's going to be very much like a movie.
Right, and I don't think it's necessarily bad writing. It's just weird out of context.
The game's going to be like 70% cutscenes.
Yeah.
And 30% puzzles.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
for
every
sure.
once in a while, you'll get to punch somebody.
For sure. I mean, that was like the biggest nitpick is like, this is mostly cutscene.
Well, and also they probably had to, you know, pay Harrison Ford $1 billion, so...
No.
No?
No. So, that is Troy Baker is doing the voice of Harrison
I mean,
Ford.
for his likeness, you know.
Oh, his likeness? I don't know how that works. Because we talked about it in the first reveal. I don't know how. I've never dove into how the Indiana Jones likeness works because all of Indiana Jones is just Harrison Ford.
Right.
And George Lucas and his contracts are very smart, and he's always been very smart on the way he's kind of like done that business side of things. So Harrison Ford could very well be getting the residuals of his likeness here,
Right.
or got paid a lump sum or something like
Yeah,
that.
he might have done some sort of like contract. You have 3 games to use my
Yeah, right.
face or something.
Right, which I mean, if that was the case, he'll be long dead by the 3rd game coming out because that dude's ancient.
For sure, but he'll have money the whole time.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't already.
Right.
I mean, he's fucking...
Harrison Ford was
set.
like one of the most well-paid actors by the time Indiana Jones was like in full effect.
Right.
Like Indiana Jones was at its peak, and Harrison Ford was making more money than everyone, like well before that point.
Yeah.
But the likeness portion is the story behind George Lucas and stuff like that. George Lucas sold the rights of the movie and stuff like that, and gave up his residuals for a portion of in the ability to license out his own toys. And George Lucas has built his whole empire on toys and merchandise and stuff like that.
Right.
So his contracts and stuff like that have always been very smartly laid out because the dude knows merchandising very well.
Yeah.
So I don't know what contract they signed in the 80s, let's say, where Harrison Ford could have very much given up his likeness a long time
That's
ago,
true, yeah.
and was just like, you'll get paid an indie fee, but a Harrison Ford likeness fee is off the table kind of thing. It would be like, a new indie project's coming out, and it doesn't involve you. You get this much for a game, this much for a movie, this much for a book.
Right.
Like, that kind of thing. But they have done stuff without Harrison Ford, like the Young Indiana Jones franchise and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something that contracts like that really interest me, dude. And, like, we could do a whole episode on like litigious residuals and stuff like that, because a lot of that doesn't exist in video games in general.
Yeah.
You think about the thousands of people that work at a Ubisoft studio to get an Assassin's Creed out. If people want to get residuals for a video game, that's insane.
You're right, yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, especially when you start getting into the games that are like on sale for 97 cents on Steam and stuff like that. It's like, are we still giving out residuals on this?
Yeah, how are we splitting hairs?
Yeah. Do those people even work at those studios even anymore? like there's not really like a union as well for developers versus like SAG and all of that kind of stuff, and contract work is a very different thing than that in the film industry. This is Mecha Breaker, or Mecha Break. It's a online PvP, PvE mech game. Everyone thought this was going to be the new Gundam Breaker game. It's not. Sure. I think we also saw this at SGF too, so it's double weird that it's even at the Xbox show.
You never know.
Yeah, I've never been
So
interested
it's
in
fine.
mechs.
Really? Because
Until
Armored
someone
Core, man, is so
comes to
fucking
see
sick.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Armored Core.
first signs
Armored
are
Core
really
is the only
subtle.
reason why I had
But over
any
time,
interest in that, because it looks
it
so much
becomes
like
clear.
that.
The gift
Speaking of
changes
Souls
you,
likes,
slowly
this is a
consuming
Souls-like.
every little part of your humanity.
we were at PlayStation, it seemed like we got like 3 of them, 4 of them. This showcase also was like, hey PlayStation, we got those too.
Yeah.
This one is very much closer to Sekiro. You have your Phantom Arm thing that will have some of your special abilities and stuff like that. But it also has like trick weapons and stuff, which is sick.
Yeah.
Like Bloodborne. I don't know who the developer of this is. So this could be a very bad one of these, but I have faith that it's not.
It runs in my blood.
Especially after like Liza P came out and was so good.
Right.
I think we're kind of past the point of like bad one of these coming out. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. 505 is publishing that. That's
pretty
cool.
sick.
They're not. It's probably an indie studio, but they're publishing. Interesting. What's after that?
That wild
fucking-
frontier suffers from
Avowed. We get another quick look at Avowed.
the roots of this
I think we've seen this game already too much, but the last time we saw this, it didn't show off too well.
He is wrong.
But I feel like this should have been the reveal of like
dangerous
the date and the get ready to get the game kind of thing. And instead, they kind of just gave us more of what they gave us last time and no date. We do get a lot more gameplay here and a lot less of the cutscene stuff.
This world than eyes
But it's still a very kind of throwaway trailer just to remind you that it exists, or it's going to exist at some point.
No matter how wild. And become what the living lands truly needs.
I don't know. I'll play it. Whether I'll play it all the way through or for only a night, we'll see. But it seems like it could be just as good as a Skyrim or Oblivion. And the combat looks a little better.
Yeah, it looks like you can do some neat things.
Yeah. But like I mean Skyrim is, the combat in Skyrim's not good, and I easily played 300 hours into that game. So if it's as good as Skyrim, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weird no date, but still also 2024. Like we do have a couple of those. Indiana Jones as well, supposed to come out this year. No date on that.
You'll get it when you get it.
Right. There's a new game by Rebellion. Rebellion is the studio behind Sniper Elite and Zombie Army. This is a new series from them. This is a series called Atomfall, taking place in a London, UK, post-nuclear fallout, World War II, a lot of political kind of stuff. But yeah, it's basically their take on a Fallout. It might be a little bit more sim heavy, maybe a little bit more on the stalker side versus a Fallout, but I think this looks good. I think this will be an easy 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 game. Be a fun time. if it plays as good as a Zombie Army or a Sniper Elite, I think you could have something cool.
Yeah.
RPG wise and stuff like that, who knows what could be here, because I don't think this team has ever done an RPG. Nor do I know if it's necessarily an RPG. It seems like it would be. I don't know why else you would have a post-apocalyptic world like this, other than to fill it with like weird stories and NPCs.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Did your father ever tell you why?
What do we got here? Oh, this is Assassin's Creed. This is just a small trailer for it. I don't think it's a great trailer, but we get a little bit of the story here. You get a little combat.
There are other ways to heal.
But it shows you a little bit of both sides. You get her part of the story and his part of the story.
Yeah.
Which just remind you, hey, this game exists, and that Ubisoft will have a showcase in like 3 days after this.
There is much we will learn.
But I don't know, I'm hyped on this game. I don't need to see another peep about this until it's out. Even though they're gonna be shoving it, it's Ubisoft, so it's gonna have an insane marketing budget.
When they will be better together.
It's not just Ubisoft, it's Assassin's Creed. It's going to have an insane marketing budget. But yeah, this is I want to see what kind of secrets are in here. There's a lot of like cool Japanese mythology that it seems like.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they tie it into the Assassin's Creed verse, because they're not even showing that side of it.
Right. Yeah,
what are the shadows?
I wonder, man. I wonder. What we got? Oh, Stalker 2. We get a new reveal for Stalker 2. I think by this point we already have had a date and stuff like that. If not, this is the reveal of the date for Stalker 2. But this is just a reminder, hey, this is coming out in September. I thought we had knew that before this, but this is a reminder for sure that it's coming out. This game is developed in Ukraine. The devs are Ukrainian, based out of Ukraine. So obviously, if you know what's going on in Ukraine, they're in a major war right now with Russia. So this game has had some trouble getting out there.
Right.
So much so, one of the developers died in battle. Like they fled the country. I think they're back in Ukraine now. Crazy life of this game. It's also taken a long time in development. Somewhere like 8 years or something like that, 9 years. Very small team. Very cool game. I don't think this game demos well. This is my one thing, is like seeing very small shots of this game doesn't do it justice of like how cramped and claustrophobic this can feel, even when you're in an open area like this, just because you're like always watching every corner around you, just to not like run into some weird magnet field or something.
Sick.
Yeah, that's really sick. This game is gonna be so cool, man. But I don't know if playing it on console would be the choice, but I'm still gonna do it. It very much has been a PC-centric series. I think all 3 are out now.
Yeah.
But they did at the last showcase announce that they were remastering the original Stalker trilogy and putting them out on console. So that is happening. Whether that's happened already or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I think all of that would be on Game Pass by now. But that is happening, which is cool. Heart of Chernobyl, September 5th. I believe the 6th is when Astro Bot comes out. So, not the same demographic unless you're a weirdo like us. But that is something to think about.
We can't wait for you to experience their game
Stalker
yourselves
2,
on September 5th.
Astro Bot.
Today,
you get Sarah Bond to come out. She's gonna announce. So there's one more thing. She also announces hardware.
I hope
this
you
is
enjoy
crazy.
the breadth of titles coming to Xbox.
This isn't new hardware.
In addition
She does
to all these great
mention
games,
new hardware,
we're
which is
introducing
weird.
a new all-digital Series X
We are
and expanding
introducing
color and
what's next
storage
in
options
line,
across the
and we're
Series
still
X
working
and S
on
lineup.
what's beyond.
They'll be
Yeah, so here we get an all-digital Xbox Series X, 1 terabyte. Kind of defeats the purpose of what the Series X is, in my opinion, but sure. You get your Series S, again, all digital, but this time it's a terabyte instead of 500 gigs. I thought that had already been announced a while ago. I thought they announced the original model in black, though, when they announced the 1 terabyte. And then you got the special edition, Galaxy Black, has like little star sparkles. It looks really nice. It's also a 2 terabyte.
That's amazing.
I
wonder, does it swivel on that pedestal?
No, that's the base. It has a black one on the other one too.
Oh, okay, it's just the base. It looks like it would swivel.
Yeah, I think
I'd probably put it on a Lazy Susan.
Yeah, because that's a vent right there.
Oh,
So it gives you like some extra vent room because you can also put it on its side too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree, that would be sick as hell. I think the PlayStation has one too.
Yeah.
But it's like screwed into place so it doesn't swivel.
Right.
So there's some weird prices. The prices already for the Xbox Series were kind of strange. I think it's $299. Yeah, that sounds right. $299 for a Series S, $500, and then the Xbox Series X original 1 terabyte was $499. Now they've cut those to $259 and $459. Xbox Series X 1 terabyte, I believe, is going to be the new $350. No, that's going to be $400. That's going to be $350. The 1 terabyte Series S, and the Series X is going to be $600.
Wow.
It's the first console we've had in the $600 range since the launch of the PlayStation 3. So, I mean, that's not a huge deal because it's a little side thing, but it is something that's taken account of, like,
from the
that
biggest blockbusters
we are back
to
in that
independent
range
games.
of, like, $600.
Right. I mean, it is
The breadth
huge.
of titles coming to Xbox.
Yeah. It's a
In addition
massive
to
machine.
all these great games,
but that's a lot of money. And I don't know if we should be in that market for Xbox, you know. It should not be. I don't. Consoles being that much in price is weird to me. It's not why we get those things.
Yeah.
You know? You're stepping into how much it costs to build a PC or to buy a pre-built by that point and stuff. And like really by that point, the argument would be ease of access and games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we already know that Xbox isn't getting a lot of third parties because Xbox isn't selling that well.
Introducing a new
so what's all this storage?
and expanding
What is it for?
storage options across
For
the
Call of
Series
Duty.
X and S
Right.
lineup.
No, but that's what I said off at the top of the thing, didn't I? I said they're using
These
it
new
to.
X and S consoles,
They made it this big to
alongside the
sell
many other
external.
devices in our Xbox gaming family,
because also
offer you
those
more choices.
SSDs,
It's our mission
PlayStation,
to
you
make
can buy
Xbox the
third-party
best place
ones.
for you
The
to
ones for
play
Xbox are
by
proprietary.
including the titles from our own studios and Game Pass at launch.
I think the
by bringing your games into the
terabyte
future
SSD
with our
had been
commitment
like
to game preservation.
$300
By pushing the technical
by itself.
boundaries in our
Yeah.
future hardware
So,
and empowering
a
you to
$600
play your games
with
anywhere
one
you
built
want
into it,
on Xbox
and you
consoles,
can put
PC, and
another
cloud.
one into it.
This is what
how
defines
they get you.
Xbox today and in the future.
It
and we're hard
makes
at work
sense, but
on the
it's-
next
it is a
generation.
lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be for the
Immediately after
true
Showcase ends,
gamers.
Call of
Which,
Duty
that's why it's a
Black
limited
Ops 6
edition.
directly
Yeah,
begins.
right.
Very
We're
small
taking you
front
inside
run on
Treyarch
that.
and Raven.
exclusive,
for
but
an
they made it
extended
high
look at
enough that
what's
like
next in Black
collectors
Ops.
still have to dish it out
But
if they wanted to
before we
buy
dive
it to
into
put
the
on a
garage,
shelf.
Right,
we've
right.
saved
Because if they sell it too cheap, then all the collectors will buy it before anyone else can.
Right. I think it'll still be scalped to all hell.
I'm sure, but it'll be just that much harder.
Right.
You have to really want to scalp it to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which I mean, I would have thought that with how much the PlayStation costs as well.
Yeah.
Shit. This is their one more thing.
One more thing.
They're ending on Gears of War. This is a prequel. I know you can't tell right away from this, but that is a young Marcus Phoenix, very young. Also, the gun that he is wielding, he dropped, doesn't have a lancer on it. It's just a normal bayonet. This is before the lancer got put onto the gun and everything. You can tell Marcus and never. This is so new that they don't even know what to do against the enemy. Like almost as if he's never fought one of these before. This is what's known as. I mean, they're gonna reveal the title for it in a second. There's a comic book line of Gears of War that's been going on for a while, pretty much since like 2. It was called E-Day, Emergence Day. This is the game, Gears of War E-Day. This will be the start of the Locust invasion, theoretically. Right after that's, you got Dom back, very young Dom as well. Yeah, you see your shot of San Francisco right here, or New York. It's New York, right? That's the George Washington.
Is it? I thought that was Britain.
Oh, maybe? No, because he's very much not. He's like from Georgia.
Isn't that the English? Isn't that the London Bridge?
That could be. I thought that was the George Washington.
I really don't know. My bridges. I don't know. That's the only thing that I could tell. Everything else just looks like buildings.
That looks more New York, like New York City versus London.
Yeah, because that could be the Empire State Building, maybe.
Yeah.
But then that building over there kind of looks like Big Ben, unless that's like a lighthouse or something.
That's a lighthouse. That's totally a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're
San
right.
Francisco, maybe.
Yeah, I think I that's what I thought too. But now look, that doesn't. The Golden Gate Bridge is a lot
Could just
longer
be its own
than that.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but that would be weird because it does take place on Earth. I don't know.
Oh, really? I've never played the game, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never. I have no idea what they're about, to be honest.
So that's cool.
I only know the logo and that a lot of. I think the reason why I never played the games because all the people that did play the games in school were, I didn't like.
Yeah.
They were like jock bros, and I was like, oh, this is probably a lame game if they're playing it.
No. It's Gears of War rips, dude.
It's like the original,
so cool.
It had that same vibe as like Call of Duty to me, where like the people that played it, I was like,
Yeah,
I'm alright.
Very much so. Especially in the online community, I could totally see that. The cool thing about Gears of War is that it's a horror game.
Oh, okay.
And especially the first one. This one also looks very much horror focused. Like things. Locusts pop out of the ground.
You're gonna be you're gonna be a little more because you're fresh. So
Yeah.
you're basically learning.
Yeah, the first one's also very
horrorverse.
dark, like a lot of corridors and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's also an enemy, there's an enemy in the series that you kind of, as a living being, you don't want to be in an area that's completely dark. You want to be in the light because otherwise you're gonna get swarmed by some shit and they're gonna eat you. It's almost like piranha bats is what the game says. But how far into like the invasion that is, who knows? This being the start of the invasion is cool because you kind of you see him not knowing what to do with one of these things, but it kind of seems like nobody knows what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like really eyes wide open, first look type thing.
Right, which makes me also like.
Which is cool because look, there's that huge creature over there.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
See that thing? Oh, you're not gonna see it paused. It's too dark.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
like
do see it.
climbing
Yeah.
right now. It's like 4 limbs or something. Like a
Yeah.
giant spider thing.
And then also, if over a little bit up to the right of that, in the smoke, there's another big thing like hunched over and eating. Right? No, maybe that's just explosions going off and it looks like that. But yeah, I totally see that big spider thing. I've seen one of those spider things before. But a lot of this is new. Of course, this is crazy.
Right.
There's no date tied to this or anything. When Sarah Bond was talking about we're looking forward to the future as well, I think this would be one of those games of like this. I could see this being the launch of that next console.
Probably. This is probably day one, next console game. Get ready.
Right. I think we are about to... I think people are going to have a really bad whiplash out of this generation because I really think that the Xbox part of this generation is going to be done a lot sooner than what people think. Especially with how much they've already kind of said about the new console. They haven't talked about it yet, but they've mentioned it multiple times. So like, we're really hard at work on the next one. Hold on, guys. It's coming. Like... But also, it's like we got all of these games that have been promised to us that have no dates.
Yeah.
That's
what it makes. It's weird that they're all like, most of them are 2025 too. It's like they're trying to push, like, oh, the next console's gonna be 2025.
Right, but it's also like, then why are you showing me a $600 Xbox, right? Like,
yeah, at the same time, right?
That 2 terabyte seems very enticing, but if you're gonna pull the trigger on this console generation,
like 6 months later, yeah.
Like, it's even worth it because there's no exclusives that I want to play. PlayStation's pretty much in the same boat. Thank God they have a remake of an old exclusive that I want to play.
Yeah, right.
With Demon's Souls, but like they're pretty much in the same boat as a PlayStation 5 specific exclusive. Because they've had like God of War and stuff, but those are cross-gen. Spider-Man 2, I guess, is the only other one that I can think of that's like PS5 only that I would play.
Right. Yeah.
But all the other ones are Ratchet and Clank, I guess, too. But yeah, everything else, Horizon, God of War, those are cross-gen. And I could have played those on my PS4. I didn't play those on my PS4.
Yeah.
What? Why would I want to buy a PS5 to play them now?
Yeah, right.
A lot of this just feels like, hey, look forward to the future. Some of it feels like the future's a lot closer than others. Of course, with South of Midnight, it seems pretty close. I think that's early 2025. You got Indiana Jones, like December is what people are rumored, and then you got Avowed, probably November, October timeframe.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is technically them. Call of Duty is October. And then there was Stalker September. So really they do have like a lineup
something
there.
every month.
It just feels like the first party stuff is lacking. But also, like, I don't know what Xbox first party is because for so long Xbox first party was just Halo, Gears, and Forza. And now we kind of have a breath of fresh stuff to introduce. You know, I think this will be a kind of a redefining feature almost for them.
Maybe, yeah, like a turn of a new leaf.
Yeah, very much. It seems like they've been in their Wii U era for like the last 2 generations.
Yeah.
Versus like the Switch had their Wii U era, got out of it within 4 years.
They've just always kind of been playing catch up.
But the 360 was so far ahead for so long, and it wasn't until the very end of the generation where PS3 finally caught up.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been more of a PlayStation guy. Even when the Xbox came out, I was like, I can...
Yeah, it wasn't until the 360. The 360 was the big one.
Yeah.
The Xbox was definitely behind those two. And then, yeah, the 360 came out. The 360 defined what console online gaming was.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, it PlayStation eventually caught up. PlayStation... At some point, we'll go back and watch a bunch of the old showcases, because there's no understatement of, like, how bad Xbox shot themselves in the foot with the Xbox One reveal.
Yeah.
PlayStation had that same equivalent for the PS3. But, like, the PS3 came out, they announced it was $600, and the CEO said that it was a 2-job console to people.
Oh,
He looked gamers in the face and was like, you gotta work 2 jobs to be able to play games on our console. It's like, what the fuck?
I remember that, yeah.
When am I supposed to have time to play your games, dumbass?
You want to work 2 jobs and play games?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
When do you want me to eat and sleep?
Yeah. You want to take a little break real quick before we get into the Nintendo?
I'm gonna need a break, yeah, my butt hurts.
Yeah.
And it's hot in here.
Word. Yeah, we'll step out of the room for a second and pause the recording. We're back.
We did it.
It's going. Picking up the birds and the microphone. I'm sorry, I forgot the window was open behind me, but obviously that's part of the reason we're not dead yet. So, it was getting pretty hot in here. Ran the fan for a second. Yeah. Can you hit that A button for me, good sir? We will get into this Nintendo showcase. We are at 2 hours and 20 minutes, so we're gonna try to get through as fast as possible. Nintendo came out with some heat. First and foremost, I mean, like I said, we'll just rattle these off. We'll go through the big ones more meticulously, like this one. This is a new Mario RPG, set in the Mario and Luigi franchise of games. Mario and Luigi was more of a turn-based RPG like the Paper Mario games, but there was like Super Mario RPG first, and then Paper Mario was another offshoot that ended up turning more RPG. This is more of that 3D Super Mario RPG style.
Yeah.
Both are written very much in the same style of like a lot of comedy and like great quests and stuff. A lot of good characters in these games. But the Paper Mario games were mainline console games, while the Mario and Luigi games pretty much stayed on Game Boy. They were more of the Game Boy RPG style games, but this game looks fantastic, I will say.
That's really cool, yeah.
This is in the art style of all of what the covers of the games look like.
Yeah.
They've always been more pixelated and stuff. The last Mario and Luigi game we got was on I want to say the end of the 3DS. It's like the Switch was already out by that point, and they were like still putting out like 3DS games for like the last year or so.
Right.
While the Switch was kind of like building momentum. Alpha Dream, the creator of the Mario and Luigi franchise, shut down because of how terrible that last one did.
Oh wow.
So this is the first Mario and Luigi game that is not made by Alpha Dream as well.
That was the first new entry in the Mario
throw
and
these
Luigi
on
series
as
in
well,
almost 9 years.
I've listened to them.
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Just a little bit more for you
Please
than
look
me.
forward to a seafaring adventure that unfolds across mysterious
this
islands.
Seems
as
fantastic.
Well as
I don't know.
moves
This is
yeah, I like the art style.
Yeah, I'd say like.
Okay.
You're not.
We
just had a few minutes of conversation before we got back into the podcast. Patrick's never been a big Nintendo dude. I mean, judging by the N64 conversation we had with Perfect Dark, Patrick's really never had a Nintendo console? Were you even a Game Boy kid? We've talked about that before.
My first console was a PlayStation 1.
Right.
I couldn't play games until I could buy one myself.
Right. And so I have the nostalgia for Game Boy, but Mario and Luigi was like... It's not that... I was probably the right age for them, but I didn't understand what they were. Because to me, back then, Mario games were Mario games. Like, if I saw Mario on the cover, I just think 2D platformer. And automatically, I'm like... And those aren't for me. And they've always kind of just been not for me. I've always tried them, but, like, it's never been, like...
Yeah, it's just a platformer.
Yeah, I've never been great at them. I don't have the patience for them as much as I do, like, a Souls or something, like, that style of hard game.
Right.
Mario never spoke to me. It wasn't until the Paper Mario franchise, the RPGs, where I was like, this makes sense. I mean, 3D Mario as well kind of helped, but, like, at that point, 3D Mario controls were inverted. And inverted controls are no-go for me.
Yeah.
Like Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 3D, or Mario 64. Mario 64 was one analog stick, so... It's inverted, and you're turning the camera with triggers. It wasn't until this most recent Switch port where they completely like reworked the controls on everything.
Oh wow!
And that Switch port was like that. Nintendo did like a limited time thing that was really weird. They've done it twice now, where like they put a console game out physically for like 6 months and then rip it off shelves. And they did that for Fire Emblem. They remade the first Fire Emblem, like the NES one.
Yeah.
They did a physical edition of that. It was like 6 months physical, and then they took it off both digitally and physically.
Oh, wow.
Same thing with these Mario things. You could buy them physically and digitally. 6 months later, took them off shelves.
Huh.
I don't know. There's like some weird Disney Nintendo style thing. It's like a Disney Vault for Nintendo, but I don't know. They tried dabbling in that, and people were furious both times.
Yeah.
That Mario port now, because it's not just one port, it's 3 games inside that collection of Mario games. It's Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. All 3 of those games are highly regarded, especially Galaxy. Galaxy is probably the most highly regarded out of the 3.
Like a bunch of globes that you run around? Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes it weird that they never added Galaxy 2 later. That's another thing. Galaxy 2 is like the only one of the 3D Marios that you can't play on Switch now. So that's very strange that they did that collection and not put the second one out. But that's another conversation entirely.
Yeah.
Those games are great, but to get those games now is very expensive. That trilogy of games, so to speak, is like, I want to say now it's $90, $95.
Oh, yeah. I bet. I mean, they're old now, too, so...
Right. So it was like $70 at launch, or $60 at launch. That games weren't $70 yet. That's crazy that that's happened within the Switch's lifespan. But, yeah, games weren't $70 yet, so it came out full price, but then, people hoarded them. And then also, like, it was limited quantities to begin with as well. It's somewhere above $90 for a cracked open one, let alone a sealed one. You're probably looking at $200.
At least.
I think that came out like pre-pandemic. I want to say that was like right before the pandemic, 2019. So it's been quite a few years as well. But like the Fire Emblem one came out during the pandemic. Fucking good luck finding that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's... I haven't even thought about looking up a price for that thing. That thing is probably super expensive.
I bet.
That physical release, I want to say, was like $100 to come out with, to like begin with.
Wow.
If it was a full price $60 release, it was because it's only the first one and they threw in a bunch of shit. But I want to say it was only that collector's edition, and I thought it was $100. But it would make sense if it was just that collector's edition. It was still $60 because it's just a port of an NES game.
True.
I think it never got localized here, and that was kind of like a point of it. Speaking of NES things that Nintendo rarely ever does, Nintendo way back in the day threw the World Championships. They usually do this on anniversaries. This is not an anniversary year for Nintendo. But it's the end of the Switch's life, which is really cool that they're doing this. I want to say this is the first time since the NES cart that we've had a proper Nintendo World Championships thing.
This is pretty neat, though.
Yeah, this is super cool. It's a bunch of mini games that you play, and it's a competition-based thing. It will keep track of times and everything like that, and world leaderboards and stuff like that. And theoretically, the whole point of this is at the end of this tournament ranking thing is that Nintendo would throw a physical one and have the real competition and everything.
Like the winners all get invited out or something.
Right.
Nice.
The most expensive Nintendo game of all time is the original Nintendo World Championships.
Oh, really?
That one's it's famous because it has like a whole bunch of like switches on it and stuff like that to change the games and stuff.
Wow.
And the parameters of the games, kind of like an arcade board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool then.
Yeah, if you were to crack open an arcade cabinet, it has a whole bunch of switches for like free to play and like to turn on all these different things. Same thing with that. Those cards are really cool, and like within the last 5 years, one got sold. There's a whole like documentary about that with Kelsey Lewin from Pink Gorilla and her helping sell that thing. Yeah, that's a crazy story. This is Fairy Tail 2. This is an anime game. This is one of those. It's crazy that it's Koei Tecmo instead of Bandai. Bandai is usually the one that I would put with the weird anime games, but sure, Koei Tecmo. Do your thing. The next game we got is a game that's been out for quite a bit, but it's been out only in Apple Arcade. This is a game called Fantasian, Neo Dimension. I think the original is just called Fantasian. You would be on the right line of thought. So this is a Square Enix title. This is made by Sakurai, and Ube Umatsu is doing all the music. Those are the creators of Final Fantasy. Fantasian, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
This is I don't know if this game's good or not. From what I've heard, I don't think anybody knows if this game is good or not. People have just been waiting for it to come to other things, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well this did on Apple Arcade, but it's so weird because like obviously people are playing Apple Arcade games because like Apple's still supporting it, but it's definitely not the hardcore gamer player base, because like nobody in the circles that I know have been playing Apple Arcade games since the launch of it. Like it was like Apple Arcade came out with a whole bunch of crazy like indie games from like Cappy and like Finji, and like Konami had a game, like they had like Igarashi worked on a game. You had some crazy names right at the beginning, so you got some hardcore people at that point, but then they kind of just like fell off of like anybody who was hardcore into it is like, I guess my Switch is good enough. I don't know.
Well, they figured out the Wii thing.
Yeah, so this is Nintendo Switch Sports. That's been out for a while, but they're adding basketball as a free update. Pretty much all it is. I think they shadow drop it too, so it's out now. The Nintendo Switch one has sword fighting in it, which is cool. It's like Chambara or something is the actual sport. Where you play like with like foam swords. Then we get a little cinematic, like anime cinematic for a game called Mio. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Get a little bit into it. It's like you got this little robot dude. It looks cool. I don't know. I can, every time we see one of these, I'll say it's not my thing. But, you know, this looks more like an Inside or like a Limbo almost.
Yeah,
but
this could be more.
You still have a lot of Hollow Knight kind of style. Like that scares the shit out of that. There's no way. I see that and I'm like, nah. I know there's people around me that see that and I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
It looks like a good mix of stuff, though.
Yeah, I like the bosses.
It looks
and
like they
stuff.
took a lot of the best elements of a side scroller and kind of
kind of like an Ori.
put them into it without it being too hectic, like maybe some of the platforming is. But
right.
Speaking
Speaking
of platforming,
of platforming, we get a free update to Disney Illusion Island. This is, I can't believe this isn't on anything else. This is only on Switch.
Yeah.
And PC, I think. Yeah, free update, free DLC, more levels. It's pretty cool. Hell yeah. After that, another Apple Arcade game, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, is finally getting off the phones, coming to Switch.
Finally.
Also be free to play. I imagine it'll be free to play. It would not be crazy if it's free to play, because the whole point of Apple Arcade games is that you pay one price and then you get the game and you don't have any of the side bullshit.
Right.
So maybe it's just a $20 game on release, $5, $10 or whatever their price of admission would be. I imagine it'll be free to play though. After this, we get a Game Mill game. It looks like a Game Mill game. This is a Looney Tunes basketball sports game.
Oh, okay.
It's like you have basketball, tennis, hockey, like a bunch of stuff. It's looking real rough.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's Game Mill. Game Mill makes a lot of like they're making the Garfield game.
Yeah,
that kind of
weird,
stuff. They're making that
new Among Us update.
Yep. So a brand new update for Among Us. I think this adds like new abilities and stuff. Like you get a Phantom ability and stuff.
That's crazy. It's
Shadow Drop for that. So
I can't even keep up.
They keep pumping out
so
shit.
many roles, yeah.
And they just had a big update for Outer Sloth. They're publishing games now at this summer Games Fest. They announced that. This is the sequel to a game called Phantom Brave. No, this is not. This is Farmagia.
Nice.
The new farming game. Marvelous is the people that make they make Disgaea and a whole bunch of like really hardcore very hardcore RPGs. Super anime. Oh yeah, dude. 10,000 damage. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing anime, but like not anime that's based off anything. This is like hardcore. But hey, Farmagia, sure.
We did it.
Another farming one. It wouldn't be a Nintendo conference without a farming game. Here we get a new remake. These are always great. It's this has been on the Wii, I think, forever. I don't think it ever. I guess the Wii U was backwards compatible. This Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. This game's really good. I'm not good at it. But fuck, dude, if I do love me some Donkey Kong. This is like Donkey Kong 94 and Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is a 3D platformer versus a side scroller like these. But I played them and my dentist's office had them.
Cool.
So I had like I would play the shit out of them. So I fell in love with Donkey Kong because of that.
Right.
Also back in the day they had like a rhythm game called Donkey Konga.
Yeah, with the drums.
Bongos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember those cabinets at like game stores and stuff. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I did play a little bit of this. Tropical Freeze I also played a tiny bit, which is the sequel that came out after. But Tropical Freeze is already on Switch.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first games that they ported to Switch. They were like, yeah, we gotta get this off the Wii U as fast as possible. So it's cool to see the Wii one finally make it over, and it looks gorgeous. It looks real pretty.
It's such a good snapper.
Yeah. Right. Dragon Quest 3 HD. It's finally time. They revealed this 3 years ago or so. I forget. The snap thing just reminded me. I was watching something with Sakurai in it, talking about old Smash Brothers, and he did the snap. No, it was fucking Kyle Bosman was watching a direct from the E3 of 2014, and they talk about Breath of the Wild for the first time, and he does the snap in the middle of it. It switches. The Wii U had just came out by that point. They were already thinking about the Switch. At that point, already doing snap. Crazy. Dragon Quest 3, amazing RPG. I wish I was really big into Dragon Quest when I was a kid, but these games were so far into the series by the time I was older. And a lot of them we never got in the States. I think 1 and 2 we never got in the States, technically. Dragon Quest is technically the first JRPG as well. It's before Final Fantasy. I think this one is even before Final Fantasy, this third one. But the rumor was that with this one, the reason why it's been taking so long, they announced it in 2019 or whatever as well, 2020, it has been taking so long because they would also be working on a 2 and a 1 remake. Here we finally get the reveal that that is indeed the case. You get your art expansion. Experience the complete Edric trilogy, 1 and 2
and 3.
So 3 will be a separate release. 3 is coming out later this year. 1 and 2 remake will be out next year.
Holding a little blue poop.
I'm confused as if 1 and 2 are going to be a pack-in, like if they're going to just be together as a title, or if they're going to be 3 separate games.
It looks like they had 1 and 2 together, and then
right?
The third one's like
separate.
Separate or downloadable like in a year from now.
No, the third one comes out this year.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, Dragon Quest is very unfamiliar for me, but I think the way the
he
story...
said something about playing 3 and then 1 and 2.
Right, because I think 3 is technically a prequel.
Oh, okay. So maybe 3 comes out first.
Yes.
And then they drop 1 and 2 together.
Right, that's what they said, but I don't know if 1 and 2... It still is weird if 1 and 2 will be separate as well.
Yeah.
Because they could totally do like a physical release of 1 and 2 and then be able to be like buy just 1 and buy just 2. Which would make more sense. This isn't the first reveal of Funko Fusion, but this is probably the first reveal you've seen of Funko Fusion.
Play with more than 60 characters as you explore locations.
Because this is a real bad trailer of it. This looks raw. I think the original trailer that they showed this week, I forget, maybe it was PC Game Showcase, or maybe it was Future Game Show. It looked a little bit better, especially fidelity-wise. It's a really good-looking game fidelity-wise. The Switch version is not. It's real crunchy.
Unbox the universe.
It's a bummer because like it's a real good looking game.
September 13th.
But I'm surprised. It's
Oh.
just a straight up third person shooter.
We've got a
Yeah.
smorgasbord
It's
of
just like
spooky,
all those guys
silly,
just have
and
M16s.
strategic games.
Right.
They're just running around and shit.
Yeah, they didn't really characterize or like make it like a universe type
Right.
thing, like a Lego or something. They just were like, all right, here's a bunch of characters we have licenses to.
Right. Here's Five Nights and Chucky and
Go
blah,
shoot
blah,
up a
blah,
bunch
blah.
of stuff. Yeah.
Tricky
Yeah.
traps.
This is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. They announced this remake way too early. They announced this remake, I think, when 3 was coming out, like that same direct. They were like, because the first one was already out or something like that, and then they announced the third one, and they were like, and later the second one was coming, and then it's been years since then. I don't know why it's taken so long, but Nintendo does. Nintendo will just sit on things.
Yeah.
Apparently there's been a Fire Emblem that's been done since like last year that they've just been sitting on because they have stuff coming out all the time. And they'll just sit on stuff forever. It's like, we're gonna see a game in a minute that's been done for a while. How long is a while? I don't know. Maybe a year, maybe 6 months. This is a tower defense for, I think it's free to play, but if it's not free to play, it's very cheap Metal Slug, but it's out now. I'm not good at Metal Slug, I tried. I did on the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played Metal Slug 3 like very early, like one of the first handful of videos I did on my channel, and I was not good at it. Darkest Dungeon 2 on Switch, it's cool.
It looks cool. It really looks nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything looks so good.
Yeah, you've been playing this, right? Or at least the first one. Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I like Darkest Dungeon. It's really good.
On Nintendo eShop.
Oh yeah. And you gotta get you a Switch so you can play some of these. I really want to get your opinion on that Mario Luigi game because you're gonna be into that. We got some new NSO titles. I love NSO, the whole idea of it, getting these games. I wish they were more frequent and stuff, but this is their online service. I think their online service is $20 for like the year versus $20 a month.
Wow.
So,
That's pretty cool.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, yeah.
But they put out a new game or two every month at least. But for the first time, we're getting rated M games. Yeah, you get Turok and Perfect Dark. Turok is great. I love. Yeah, you're right. I love Turok as well.
My cousin had this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd play it sometimes.
Hell yeah! That's a quintessential N64 game for me. Apparently this mature app has been out for a while on the Japanese version because GoldenEye in Japan is rated M. And I had no clue that was the case. So they learned that pretty recently. But that I guess would have been a rumor. That was never a rumor that we'd also be getting a mature version of it. It was just never a thought of like Nintendo's family friendly. They're not gonna put out M-rated games. But it's like, of course, Turok, Perfect Dark, Conquer, like Mortal Kombat, Doom 64, Diablo 60. There's so many M-rated 64 games that would be great. This is that Phantom Brave game that I was talking about. This is a sequel to a PS2 RPG.
Wow.
Called Phantom Brave as well. Apparently Phantom Brave has been re-released a couple of times and they've added like some things to it, but they've never made a complete sequel to it, is from what I understood reading about it. This is the first complete sequel to the game in like 20 years. Something like that. I think it was like 2005 at the earliest, I guess, of when the first one released, but shit. It's crazy. It's cool to see. Apparently this game's very popular, and
It looks neat. It's a cool concept.
Yeah. That was the Disgaea people. Disgaea is like, have you ever seen the Blue Penguin RPG? It's like a JRPG and their mascots. His name's Prenny. Mega 64 does a bunch of videos about Disgaea and stuff, but that's like some hardcore JRPG shit. If you're not a hardcore JRPG nut, you definitely, Disgaea is like way deep into that niche. This is cool. This is the first time that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is playable on a modern system, let alone all of the other games.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Those games are fun.
Yeah, dude, this is such a huge deal for the fighting community. I saw multiple people on fighting game, like TikToks and stuff like that, crying over this. The old way to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is regarded as one of the best fighting games of all time. Like Street Fighter 2, like high up there. The only way you would able to play it at an event like Evo is if they were able to bring cabinets and stuff of like physical arcade cabinets. And that was the only way to do competitions, because in these fighting game and stuff, you are not able to play modded versions of games.
Yeah.
So for the first time ever, I mean, since like the 90s, dude, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to be able to be played on the show floor for the first time, and people are losing their shit. There's a new Mario Party. Mario Party's Mario Party, but Mario Party on the Switch sold very well. So they made another one on the Switch.
Sick, yeah.
That second one on Switch sold even better. So now they're making a third one. Yeah, this looks sick.
That's cool.
I would totally play a Mario Party with you and do like a run through.
Wow, 2 Mario Party games?
No, that's
just
from the
map.
first. Yeah, that's
Okay,
from the
okay.
first 2 games, those were N64 games. Mario Party is another nostalgia thing, but like I've never had like a giant group of friends that played these games.
We would
It was
play
always, like,
Mario
1 or
Party.
2.
I never had a system for it, but we would play Mario Party like when our band would take field trips in high school to like away games. We like a bunch of us who had the system would play on the bus together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So usually I ended up like getting one of them.
I mean, I would love to play this. Yeah, and I played with friends stuff too. I never had like a big group of people. Like, it was always like 1 or 2 people at a sleepover kind of thing.
I would love like a huge party. If this was like online compatible and you could just play with anyone ever.
So they did mention for the first time ever, this is the first time you will be able to have up to 20 players at a Mario Party map.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's exciting though, because you can actually now.
Yeah, up until this point it was 8 people.
Yeah, and you'd have to have them all over at your house or whatever.
Yeah, I think the last one, if not the last 2, had online. But yeah, you're right. At least the other ones before that, you would definitely have to have people at your house or connect
Zelda
cables.
characters.
This is, I mean, this is crazy, dude.
I thought this was
This is Zelda. You're right.
I thought it was part of the Mario Party.
No.
I was like, wait, they're putting this in Mario Party? That's
That'd
crazy.
be sick. That'd be sick.
Right?
So a few years ago, we got the Link's Awakening remake in this art style. And everybody was like, what would happen if they just continued making old school Zeldas in this style?
Yeah. It's like almost Lego style.
Yeah, it's very toy box, like very small. This is that. This is a new game in that style. Not only is it just a new game, it's the first time that we've been able to play as Zelda since the Philips CDI. Or Zelda 2. depending on
Hello,
who you
I'm
ask.
Luigi Aonuma, producer of the Legend of Zelda series.
This is a game that apparently Nintendo's been sitting on for like over a year.
What you just saw was the
but because of Tears of the Kingdom and it taking so long for it to come out and stuff like that, they've been sitting on it. And giving, I mean, Nintendo is very much a strategic company with their releases. They gave Zelda its room to breathe. But Nintendo has said they want a new Zelda thing every year. Whether it's a remake, a movie, a book, you know, one of the big tentpole games. Well, now we found out that new 2D, quote 2D, this is definitely a 3D, but this is part of that. We will be getting a new version of 2D games, and that is also cool because this is the first time that we've gotten a new one of these since the 3DS. Link Between Worlds was technically the last 2D game that we got in the Zelda universe. We did get, like, there was that Cadence of Hyrule game, which is the Crypt of the Necrodancer people made a indie spin-off of their game with all in the Zelda universe. But it's not exactly a Zelda game because the combat, you have to play on a rhythm, and like that's the whole point of the game is that everything moves to the beat of the music.
Right, yeah.
I think they did add it where you could just play through it like a normal Zelda game, but like it kind of defeats the point. In my opinion, this is fucking sick. The ability to clone just anything in the world and stuff like that and use it as spells and stuff. I mean, it makes sense. Zelda's not running around with a sword.
Right.
She's got this wand.
Yeah, I wonder how broken that can be.
Yeah.
It's like one of those games I want to watch someone who like purposely breaks games. Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole idea with like Tears of the Kingdom, right? You can like glue everything together.
Right.
Can,
this
like,
is basically
stuff.
They basically found another way to like sandbox
based on the situation.
And, summoning enemies and stuff just anywhere in the map. That's so cool, man.
I'd summon fish in the desert. That'd be so funny.
What a fucking cool game.
Yeah, this seems like it's one of those games where you can like really play your own way.
Right. I mean, like, hey, even if this wasn't coming out on a normal Switch, this is a reason to buy the Switch 2 right here. Bam, new Zelda. Yeah, Mario and Luigi coming out soon. That'll probably get a Nintendo Switch 2 port as well. This right here, no matter when it comes out, bam.
To be honest,
I think this is. I mean, Zelda 2D Zelda's never been a console seller, but I think this one kind of just breaks minds in a way that this makes you want to play it.
Experience will be different. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom launches September 26th.
September 26th, 2024.
A Nintendo Switch Lite system inspired by the Legend of Zelda series will also be available.
Brand new Switch 2 or Switch Lite.
I hope you're looking forward to playing as Zelda in this new adventure.
Their Switch Lites, like their collector's editions are weird because they don't always come with a game. It'll be like, this is the Zelda Switch, but it won't come with a Zelda game.
Yeah.
I think the Pokemon ones were like that. We get a Just Dance 2025 trailer. Let me just skip over that. But they didn't show it at Ubisoft, and people were like, why did they not show it there? Well, it's because it's here. We get another Lego Horizons trailer because they said it was coming to Switch, but not Xbox. After that, they announced Stray is coming to Switch. This looks real bad.
Yo, Stray inspired so many cat games. I feel like there's been like 4 cat games that dropped this year, dude.
Little Kitty Big City, dude. I've been playing it. It's been great. But this looks rough.
That's just one of them. There's so many. Yeah, I wouldn't play this on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll play fine. And just fidelity-wise, this game is so gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is one of those games where you have to like really experience it on a better.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's coming to PC as well soon. So there will be that. No Xbox as well for that. After that, we get a look into the Tales of Shire.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
the Stardew game.
yeah, but Hobbiton. This one is apparently good. From what I've heard, people are really hyped on this. People have been playing it. I think it's out on PC. Or at least the demo was. But people were hot on it. People liked it.
As a newcomer to the little haven of
It is looking a little rough on Switch. The frame rate's a little.
problems and even share a
We're not. We're hitching a little bit.
Explore, garden, fish, forage, and cook. The best way to build a
Like
hobby
that
community
waterfall
is
is
by
not
hosting
having
a
a good
dinner
time.
party.
But yeah, there's that.
Well, that was
After that, we get more
released
Ace
outside
Attorney.
Japan, are
Finally,
coming
we
to
get the
Nintendo
last
Switch.
two Ace Attorney
One
games.
collection.
These ones have never been localized.
As the
These have been
prolific prosecutor
Japanese
Miles
only
Edgeworth
for a very
take
long
the case
time.
out
The
of the
Edgeworth
courtroom
games,
and
yeah.
investigate crime scenes.
So finally,
Gather information
not
by
only do we
interviewing
have all of
people
them,
and
all of them
inspecting
are
evidence.
on modern
Then use the
consoles
power
on the
of
Switch.
logic to solve challenging cases.
Yeah, this
Enjoy
is
all
cool.
new
Yep,
hand-drawn character
more
visual.
great
Yeah,
Attorney.
Yeah, these
Ace
games
Attorney.
are good. They're all good games. After that, we get the 100-line Last Defense Academy. This is the new Danganronpa game, except it's not Danganronpa. You play as these kids defending the school. I assume the school is the Danganronpa school, yet they don't say it, but you're defending it from these weird alien creature things. They kind of look like those hype beef sculptures that look like Mickey Mouse with no face.
Yeah.
And forced to enroll at the
I
Last
forgot
Defense
what the
Academy,
artist is,
along
but
with
it's a tower
15
defense
other
game. It's like a turn-based tower defense game. But it has all the
interesting.
aesthetics to it.
And then it's just gonna have some sort of twist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that looks like the school, right?
An academy shrouded in secrecy.
Like that.
Oh, that's the vault.
Yeah.
The loss of allies.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that does.
100-day trial, colored by
That looks like the
extreme
school right
and
when they opened
despair,
it near the
and
end
return
thing.
to his
Right.
normal life.
So
The
like,
creators of Danganronpa
I mean, we've heard about a great catastrophe in this universe.
Maybe this is the beginning of
It's
that.
this, yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. But like, I heard nobody else like theorizing on what that is. So
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe I'm crazy. You get Romancing Saga 2. Romancing Saga is really big in Japan. It's trying to be really big here. I think this one might be that, but if it's only on Switch, who knows? It's just a big 3D action open world RPG. It's a good one of those, and I'm surprised it hasn't gotten bigger, but
formations to enhance abilities. Turn-based battles have also evolved into timeline battles, where the action
I didn't realize it was like full out like football like
innovative features like
diagrams and shit.
That's kind of cool though. Yeah, I like that because it really does
How will you
help.
expand
There,
your
I played a couple games like that where you kind of
and in
determine
which
how your
order will you
party's
fight the 7
shaped.
heroes?
Yeah.
Depending on
Every
like if
decision
you're
you make will
ranged or
dramatically alter the course of the
defense.
story.
You want your tanks up front, your mages in the back and
Yeah.
stuff. Instead of just in a line and it's random, there's some more like actual defense involved. Like they can't necessarily get to your mage if there's someone in front of them or whatever.
That sounds so sick.
So it's like an extra layer of strategy
Revenge of the Seven
and
launches
less
on Nintendo Switch
less random.
October 24th.
Yeah. That sounds sick as hell.
Because that's my only like that's the only like not, I wouldn't say flaw, but like maybe I wouldn't know the word for it, but like it's not really a problem. But like when you do RPGs, it's like you don't necessarily know who they're gonna attack next.
Right.
So you always have to. It's always a gamble. Like, oh, should I heal this person or blah blah. Whereas like when you have it kind of like that, you have a better chance of like divvying stuff out, I guess.
No, yeah.
But yeah,
For sure.
so that's
God,
cool.
that's cool.
I play that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for like a weird turn-based RPG. It's Persona burned me out, man.
That's why I'm playing.
Persona 3 burned
That's why I'm
me
playing
out.
Like a Dragon.
Yeah, you're still playing through that.
Almost done.
Hell yeah, we'll have to talk about that
Next
next
will
week.
be our last
Yeah.
announcement. Please take a look.
Last game, last one. This is the big one. A long time coming. The reveal of the Switch. they had one game. Well, they had 2 games that they revealed as just logos. Bayonetta 3 was one of them, and that's already out. Metroid Prime 4 is the other one.
Oh yeah, it looks like the helmet.
And we finally are seeing Metroid Prime
Imagine
4.
if your helmet and your ship look the same. That'd be cool.
Right? It'd be so sick. Yeah, it's one of the things that they've kept, like, since the original is the way that ship looks.
No way, there's a lady in that outfit? You saw how slender that was? There's no way that's a lady.
Samus?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a lady.
No, I know. It's
Oh.
it's like it just very looks... I mean, it's very
Yeah.
slender build.
Very slender woman. But, like, her shoulders are very broad.
Right,
She has
yeah.
big, broad shoulders. They're, like, fucking deck.
Tackle you down.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You've never played Metroid, right? Because you're not a big Nintendo person.
No, I've only played this character with Smash Bros.
Yeah. So you gotta... Dude, Metroid Prime fucking rips. We gotta get you a Switch Lite at least, man. Because, like, they remastered Metroid Prime 1.
Yeah, Kevin has a Switch.
Oh, really? Metroid Prime
It's
Remastered
like
is fantastic. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is the name of this now.
This is the first time it's not side-scrolling?
No, so the Prime series is all 3D.
Oh, okay.
The Metroid, when it's just Metroid, those are the 2D ones. So you got like Metroid Zero Mission. They added for NSO today as well. But the most recent one was Metroid Dread.
Oh, okay.
And then Metroid Prime is where they turn 3D. And then you have the co-op side ones that are also 3D, which are like Federation Force. Or Galactic Federation, or something like that. They said
I just want to know how she turns into a ball. That's pretty cool.
Right, she turns into the Morph Ball.
Yeah,
that's what they've...
That's all for today's Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. I wonder how many Morph Ball abilities you'll get into this, because
Yeah,
a lot of the abilities for Morph Ball are kind of like Sonic with like the dash and the double jump and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you're not moving as fast as a Sonic, but it's very much
still
in that
rolling.
idea, right? Yeah. But dude, that's gonna be a sick game. And Metroid Prime rules. Metroid Prime 2 is okay.
Yeah.
3 is better. 4 is not so... No. 3 is the bad one. Metroid Prime Other M is the name of the third one. It's not called Metroid Prime 3. And that one, yeah, a lot of people do not like that one. I think that's the third one. It's so weird, because like they've had Metroid Prime, and then they released the Metroid Prime trilogy on Wii. So no, Metroid Prime Other M is technically the fourth one. And this is continuing that story, but it's not calling itself Metroid Prime 5. It's calling it 4. Because they never numbered Other M.
Right.
Other M, they made Samus, like, super emotional and kind of a whiny bitch.
Oh, really?
And people don't like that, because they're like, she was a strong, independent woman.
Just
and
a silent protagonist, yeah.
And they made her talk, and, like, she's, like, depending on a man the whole time, and, like...
Right. It's like, did we miss the first handful of games?
Right. Yeah, the last 20 years of this character.
Get who we were building, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very strange in that direction. So it's been a long time since we've had a Prime sequel.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a long time since they announced this sequel. It was 2017, dude.
Really?
Maybe even 2016.
Jeez.
This was the
almost 10 years.
Right, this is the game that was promised with the Switch.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how long it's been.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Bayonetta 3, Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Metroid Prime 4. Bayonetta 3 came out in 2020. And now it's even 4 years from that.
Wow.
Did Bayonetta 3 come out in 2020? Maybe it was 2022. That game took forever to come out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a little more recent.
Right. But also Breath of the Wild took forever to come out. Like, these games are just monsters of, like, development time. It's like Breath of the Wild was announced in 2014 is when they announced it, and Eiji Anuba does the snap. And he's like, let me show you what we've been working on. And it does the snap, and then the whole backdrop goes behind him, and it's like all of Hyrule behind him on a green screen.
Oh, word.
He's like, this is the game we've been working on.
That's dope.
So even at that point, they knew it was going to be like the mid-gen point of like it's coming out on a Wii U, but it's also technically the launch game of the Switch.
Right, yeah, they're making moves.
Yeah. I think you'll see that for Metroid Prime as well, because we did not get a date at the end of that. Just a year for 2025, and we already know that the reveal of the Switch 2, they're already talking about it, like, with the announcement of this Direct. In that tweet, they said there will be no the direct quote was, there will be no update on the successor of the Switch 2. Or the successor of the Switch. They're very aware that everybody knows that that's coming. And I mean, we talked about, I think, the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, when they completely said it's being worked on.
Yeah.
Hold your horses.
Right.
And it was like fucking what's his face from a tweet. This is blah blah blah. I think it was this is Miyamoto again. It was one of those. This is Miyamoto. We are working very hard on the Switch 2 or the Switch successor. Please stay tuned. We have nothing to announce as of now.
Yeah.
The same thing as of this. I assume we'll see that like probably November time frame, if not January. I imagine they will be releasing the Switch 2 in March of next year. I would be safe to say it would be March of next year, almost a direct 8 years after the original Switch. The original Switch did launch in March. They seem to really like that time frame. It's the end of the physical year for them. Japan's business quarters in March. It's weird where they start in the middle of the year versus America. They start in the beginning of the year. So March makes sense. Finish with big financials to be like, we're doing really well. Invest all your money.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna kill it next year. It's only gonna go up. That kind of thing. Yeah. But it also seems like they are very willing to sit on stuff if they need to. They will only put things out when they need to.
If everything's working right now, there's no rush.
Right. The Switch 2 is on its way to outsell the PS2 within this year. There's something like 158 million units was announced, something like that, and then I think PS2 is at 162. So we are very, very close to this being the most sold console of all time, including handhelds.
I call it a handheld, really. I mean, I know that you can play it on your TV.
Most people only play it on their TV.
But it's a handheld. Even if it does outsell PlayStation, I still don't consider it... it's apples and oranges to me still. Because you can never...
Yeah,
you can never do what you could do with a PlayStation with a Switch.
Well, you could.
You can never pick up your PlayStation and carry it in the car and play it.
Right.
It was an actual console.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's my point, is the Switch
it still
is not the same.
It still runs
as
at
a
1080-60 though.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That's still... So do phones. I mean...
Right, but your phone doesn't hook up to your TV.
It could.
Play. I mean, it can now, but it didn't at the time.
That's like saying if I got a phone with an emulator on it and everyone bought that emulator. Now this phone brand is the number one console, but it's a phone.
I mean, if Apple wanted to do that with Apple Arcade, they could have done that.
That's true, and if everyone did it, it would still be the number one phone game.
The problem with that is what it's emulating are other consoles.
Right.
It's just emulating.
That's true.
Switch
Yeah, it would have to be like
original.
console. Yeah, I guess it would have to be like if Apple games.
Right.
But like if everyone played only Apple games, it would still only be like the number one phone console.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess it is. I mean, technically, yeah, sure, it is a console because you can plug it into your thing, but
we are soon away. We are getting to what you're talking about with the other boys, with Xbox and PlayStation, where they're looking at the Steam Deck, and looking at the Roger Ally, and kind of like, we need to do one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the Switch, their whole market is that mixed audience, where like they have both versions of what you're talking about.
Right.
The Switch is still a console-ass console.
Yeah.
But they have the Switch Lite if you want just the handheld. Most people will only play on TV with the big boy and only play handheld with the little one.
Yeah, because you can take it apart and use it as like a separate remote and
right.
stuff. Yeah.
But
I guess because it's a hybrid, it makes the technicality a little bit.
Right. Which, I mean, that's the whole... I mean, PlayStation was looking at that pretty hard as well.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that these PC things are following the footsteps of Switch now.
Yeah,
where, like, in order to become more of an actual PC, they have docks now and everything like that to use it as an actual thing. Which, I mean, like, the Steam Deck plays Steam games, and it's just it doesn't play every Steam game, so that's another weird thing of, like, there's nothing really like Nintendo specifically, and they've always kind of just been like that.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation had the PSP, but that was the only other time...
That's true.
Well, I guess that's not the only other time a console has had a handheld and a console. That used to be actually the main thing for everybody.
Yeah.
PlayStation was the odd one out up until the PSP without a handheld. It used to be, you had your Game Gear and your Master System, or your Game Gear and your Dreamcast. You had your Neo Geo Pocket with your regular Neo Geo. You had your PSP to your PS2, but you also had your PS Vita to your PS3 and PS4. Game Boy to whatever console, and like all of them spoke to each other and stuff. I think the Switch 2 will put a lot of that discrepancy away. I think the Switch 2 is the next iteration where it's gonna be 1080 60 handheld and 4K 60 docked.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be flawless with like its operating system and stuff. Nintendo doesn't fuck up with that shit.
Right.
Whether or not that will, I think that will change the way people will look at a hybrid system like that, and I think that will change the way that a lot of the console manufacturers are just building the next generation to begin with. I think you might see where the PS6 is a hybrid as well.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably going to go into that direction for sure.
But who knows? I mean...
Because it definitely is more convenient.
Yeah. I think... I don't know. I'm not saying... My argument is that I don't think one is lesser than another, because I would still say the Game Boy is still a console.
Yeah.
Because with Pokemon, dude.
Yeah.
And stuff. You have, like, big hitters on there.
That's true.
I
guess a handheld console, it's not really... It's still a game console.
Right. I'm not saying that... I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that. I'm just saying that those games you should believe in a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, with this you can believe in a little.
I was
bit
just
later.
trying to defend PlayStation. I don't want to see them. Get beat
well,
out.
I don't think that they need to be defended right now. I get it totally, but like, I mean, they were the weak ones out of the three.
Right.
I mean, this year and last year with the showcases. But on the console race, they're winning by a long shot right now. I mean, the Switch 2. We'll get there when we get there. The Switch is selling insane, and it still is. But like, out of this generation, it's like the PlayStation's like triple Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. Like they're at 60 million units already. Well, I say already. I think we're almost at 5 years of this gen.
Yeah, which is crazy because we went almost a year without even being able to buy one.
You're right. Yeah. We'll be at 5 years next year. Which is, and it goes back to the Xbox thing. Xbox is so far behind.
Yeah.
We're this far into the generation without any exclusives, and they're already talking about new hardware. It's a very concerning place for them to be in, but it's an understandable place of like, the Nintendo was at the Wii U.
Yeah.
The hybrid console they've been working on for a very long time, but they didn't know if it would work either.
Mm-hmm.
The Wii U is definitely that idea, but it wasn't expanded upon to the point of the Switch was.
Yeah.
And with the announcement of Breath of the Wild and them already in that stage of planning it, it's kind of crazy to see in retrospective. Like, we know what we got here, whether the world sees it or not.
That's true. Yeah.
We need to.
They're very confident, and I mean, rightfully so. But yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I do think I do. I mean, I don't know what to think. I don't even know where not even an argument, but like where the conversation started of like.
You were just saying that they're looking good. They have the most sales.
Oh yeah, right. It's right. It's because PlayStation 2 sold so well, not because of consoles of gaming. It sold extremely well because it was the cheapest DVD.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Player.
100%,
it was like $200.
Yeah, it definitely fell into like this perfect spot of time where like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation. That reveal of the PS2 versus the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Is same year. Dreamcast coming out $99.99, and it was a couple $100 more, and like PlayStation was coming out after.
Mm-hmm.
Also, their showcase was after.
Yeah.
Dude comes out on stage, doesn't say a word, says $299, drops the mic and walks off, and that's how they sold the PS2. That's insane.
Yeah.
Different time for sure, but I mean, you see it across the board of like, there was, I mean, even back then, 162 million units. It seems crazy because like,
yeah.
I mean, we just didn't have games that sold that well at that point.
Right. Not well. I mean, we didn't have that many people playing at the time.
Right.
Now there's like 3 times as many people playing games.
Right. And then everyone and their mother has like, again, their phone, and you don't see your phone as a console, but my mom does.
Yeah.
My dad does.
That's true, yeah.
They see Bejeweled and Farmville and all of these games that they've been playing since the PC days.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of the Eastern market would, I mean, they know the difference, but a lot of it has, the mobile market is a lot bigger there.
Yeah,
versus
true.
here, where
that's so true.
Our console market is very big, and we are kind of the other side of the tilt on that, where like PC is very big in Europe. And mobile's very big in Asia. Consoles are very big in the US.
Yep.
And then there's kind of like a flood between it all everywhere, but like that's where everything stands. And the PC is going more up here because of physical releases going down. So we'll see where we are in a year or so. But I think Nintendo being one of the only consoles to still be doing physical like they are, I think they're gonna Switch 2 is gonna be a monster.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a monster machine, dude. Whether I don't know how the, I mean they were. I don't even think they really need to even market it as like anything really. Come out at the same price.
Yeah,
right?
people will buy it.
And like, shit, dude. I'd buy you a Switch if, like, with how fucking cheap they are at that point, dude. You know. Like shit, catch you up on so many great games, and you'll believe. You'll believe, man. You'll play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you'll fucking see.
Wow.
You're like, damn. Not even in a bad way. Super Mario Odyssey, dude. That's a fucking game.
Yeah.
That's a crazy game. The soundtrack, I was just singing that in my head. Jump Up Superstar, I still play like all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah. Such a crazy console, such a crazy company, and what a crazy long podcast for us.
Yeah.
We usually, I mean, last episode we did a little bit longer as well. We're gonna try to be getting closer to these 3-hour marks, but you know, we kind of just go with the vibe of things. It's better to do that than to be like, we gotta do this amount of time. It's like, no. Sometimes we just don't get a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really hot.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hot in here. Next week I should have an air conditioner.
As long as we always start at like 7 in the morning, so it's not
for sure.
noon.
For sure.
I don't think I'd last 30 minutes in this room if it was after 11.
Well, yeah, especially with when I have the fan going, it's not so bad. But like, yeah, when it's just stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, even then, I've lived here.
All right.
I mean, maybe it's not as bad because you don't have a carpet, but when I lived in that carpeted room with the door shut, just my Xbox would like 30 degrees that room, dude. I'd be walking out sweating with like no shirt on. So I can only imagine with 7 lights and 3 machines on.
All right. Yeah, I got all my things going. Yeah.
And the roof's right here, so it's just pinging.
Right. Yeah.
We're in like one of those like rotisserie bags. They fucking.
Oh, that sounds so good, man. I went to go get groceries earlier. I didn't get any food.
Wow. That's what groceries are.
Yeah. Oh, I got drinks.
Okay. I went to get groceries. I didn't get any groceries, but I went to get them.
I didn't get food.
I guess I got beverages.
I got beverages.
That's half a grocery, I guess.
Yeah. The deli wasn't open yet.
Oh,
I wanted chicken.
You can't go that early.
Yeah. Well, I wanted drinks.
That's fair.
Yeah, I need a Monster. I gotta have my Monster for breakfast.
Mm.
It's a bad habit. I need to stop. But, shit, dude. I mean, we could stop the podcast too. Not forever. We will be back next week.
We should probably stop it though.
Yeah. Go get some lunch. Get cooled off real quick.
Yeah, hydrate.
Shit, dude. Nintendo and Xbox coming out swinging.
Yeah.
I always have fun talking to Patrick about these. Thank you so much for listening and get a little bit more on camera.
Yeah, I don't really know how far you've been off this. No, you've been there about the whole time.
Yeah.
You just moved your son.
Yeah, I keep like going more over here, and as long as they can hear me, that's the main thing. But with it being a video show, yeah, we'll get audio versions of the podcast soon. Now that I have an office, I can like work more. And that's the one thing, is it's all just work. It's all fucking work.
It's probably easier to do the audio because you just plug the audio into the. You don't have to sync anything.
Right, but then uploading it to everything. That's the other thing, is I need to get an RSS feed and like for Spotify and Apple and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's a whole process that I gotta do it. Yeah. I haven't set it up, but I want to set it up so I could get you to do the audio while I do the video upload, because the video upload takes like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Especially for this is gonna take like 7 hours just to render out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that'll be fun. And next week is gonna be a lot shorter of an episode, but maybe not. Maybe we'll have like the world collapses and games and stuff. Who knows?
We never know.
We'll talk about a lot of the smaller stuff and talk about what our favorite things were, but we'll talk a lot more about Shadow of the Erd Tree next week. Elden Ring comes out tomorrow, and I will be playing the hell out of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to beat the whole game tonight so I can.
Or at least get to Moog,
I'm
dude.
not gonna even get close to that.
At least get to Moog.
I don't think I'd probably beat the first boss by tonight.
Oh, really?
If I started a new game right now...
Oh, I was gonna say just continue where you were, but...
I don't even know where I'm at this point. It's been so long since I've jumped back on it.
That's the cool thing about Elden Ring is, like, if you just follow the map.
That's true, yeah. You don't really have to...
Yeah.
Know too much. It's just more of, like... I'm more of, like, a completionist, so I don't know, like, oh, what... I mean, I've marked it on the map pretty well, like, what I need to go back and do and stuff. With a bunch of markers. It's just, like...
After I've been to an area, I just pull up all the mini bosses in that area, and then I'll just fucking go through real quick, and because it's like 20.
I haven't been using any guides though.
Yeah,
not yet at least. I mean, besides obviously what I've just seen other people playing. Usually while I'm playing, I don't look at stuff, so I'm not sure exactly what I've completed in its entirety yet. I know there's a lot of secret stuff I haven't even got close to yet. But.
Yeah, I'd say the secrets, let them be secrets, and let those find them on their own. Like, just naturally stumble upon those, but bosses and stuff, just fucking just start ripping through all the mini bosses. Mm-hmm. And then, if you feel burnt out on that, just start playing the main game and follow the map. Right. I think it would be worth it. I'm about to do the same. I'm going to render out this video and play Elden Ring for a few hours until I fall asleep.
Nice.
I do
let's
work
wrap
tonight.
this podcast up before we keep
making it longer.
I can feel myself sweating through my pants. I don't like it.
Hell yeah, man. It's
been
fun, guys.
It's been a podcast.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Tell us all your fears in the comments.
Like, comment, subscribe. Links down below if you want to follow, support us, and all that stuff. It's been fun, guys. It's been real. Peace out, Cub Scouts.